YouTubers and friends, how you all doing tonight? I'm actually really excited. It's our 4th of July Eve. We have two guys with us who have been on shows on networks like Travel Channel. The Timothy Draper and Todd Anderson Treasures in America is with us tonight, and of course, my two partners in crime, Toledo Jess and Dano, and I are here with our friends, you out there. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Hey, if you're here for your very first time for Tuesday Night Hangout Live, I'd like to welcome you to our show, and hopefully you'll become a subscriber and join us on a weekly basis. How's your day, guys? Dano, Jesse? I know how your weekend was, Jesse. How was yours, Dano?
Weekend was very restful. Went camping for the weekend. Slept a lot, but I was wore out, so I caught up on sleep.
Yeah, we had an eventful weekend. Ed and I went to his private little Idaho, which is not in Idaho, by the way. No. It's in Ohio. He just calls it his private little Idaho. It was some kind of mix-up over the weekend. But anyways, we went and checked out a spot that we reasoned may have some gold in it.
It had lots of lead.
Unfortunately, lots of lead. There should be some gold. We did find a little bit.
Yeah, we didn't get skunked, but...
No, but we won't be going back.
No, we'll be going to the other side of the hole.
Yes. It's... So I spent the day recuperating. I was somewhere, guys. I took a fall.
Oh, and I didn't have my camera rolling, Dano.
Dang it, once again.
Always when the good stuff happens, you never have the camera rolling.
Ed goes sideways up a hill, we don't get it.
Right.
Dano Jesse takes a tumble in the creek.
And we didn't get it.
No.
But be glad I didn't break a hip, because at my age that would have been too hard to do.
Yeah, you scraped yourself pretty good.
Yeah, man.
Oh, you should see the bruise on my leg.
We're going to get you a walker for the creek to walk in the creek.
No, sir, I'm still good. I'm still good. They break up just a little bruise, and I'm back at it.
I see we have people all over from all over.
Some new people too, it looks like. Hey, John Wolf and AU Rockin'.
Yeah, that's a new one, I believe.
Right.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
We have Sean and Sean.
Sean and Sean.
And of course, Patrick's here, our fourth cahoot.
And the great moderator, Mr. Lodak.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the Hookmeister is here.
John
Busted Buckle Prospecting,
Rob's here.
See Rob McGuire,
And don't forget Sir William of Penny Lot.
No, can't forget Sir William and Angela. Hello,
from
Angela.
Australia. So we got
And-
people from all over the globe.
Oh
Which is cool.
Mr. Buckle hasn't showed up
I
yet.
was just gonna say I don't see our buddy Mr. Buckle.
I think he
Okay.
changed his name again. So
He
and
did.
We have our Canadian friends from up the Great White North with us. Hey, Wolfie.
There's Wolfie.
And Sean's also from Alberta. So.
Cool.
And then we have our Aussie Sean Aussie Busted Knuckle Prospecting friend in the house. Excellent. Glad you all came and took your time to join us tonight, or for the Aussies this morning. I think it's only like 10 or so.
They're in the future.
Down under.
Yeah, they're tomorrow. They're tomorrow people.
Yeah, they're tomorrow.
Rich Cooley just walked in the door. How you doing, Rich?
And Roddy Gold. Hey, Rich.
Yeah, and Grotty's from down under. All right, excellent.
So I'm really excited about tonight's show because
Yeah, it was your idea to have Timothy on, and he asked about Todd, and I'm like, oh, by all means, by all means.
So we should probably just go ahead and bring him in because my dog's sitting here staring at me. I think she wants to go outside. Want to go outside? Oh, yeah.
Okay, well,
Okay, so let's bring him in.
let me give Adam about 10 seconds.
Oh, okay.
1002, 1003, 1004, 1000, Adam. 5, 1000, 6, 1000, 7, 1000, 8, 1000, 9, 1000, 10, 1000. Okay. Did you let your dogs out? Whoop, whoop.
He's back. He's got his earbuds in now.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. They're like kids, you know. You get on the phone, they want to talk to your kids want to come up and ask for something. I get on the phone, my dog wants to go outside.
You just need train to open the door.
Yeah. I got her to wipe her feet when she comes in, so I mean,
True. Well, gotta start somewhere, right? Well, why don't we bring in our guests? And after all, this show is all about them.
Okay. Later, folks.
Yep. Later, folks. We got to get out of here now. We just got to talk. We're not as purty.
Yeah. Definitely. How's it going, Timothy?
Good. How about you?
Oh. LA. So Timothy is from
St. George, Utah.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. That was your cue. Your turn to start talking. Treasure, and you have a Facebook page or a company called Treasures in America, right?
Yeah, correct.
In America or of America? In America.
In America.
In America.
Yeah. So it's Treasures in America. It's a group that I started. You know, how long has it been, Todd? About 3 years now, roughly.
Been about 3 years.
I would say it's been in the work for 20 years, you know, but yeah, anyway, so it's been 3 years since the team officially came together. And yeah, we got a Facebook page. You can find us, just search Treasures in America. You know, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. We have our own website, treasuresinamerica.com. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Am I missing anything, Todd?
No, that sounds about right.
Now, I came across you guys when you did a show on Travel Channel, Legends of, with Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
That was the name of the show, right?
It was. Yeah, you got that right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was really interesting show. I thought it was really cool, and I was really hoping that you guys would do more of those. But you know how TV is.
Yeah, with that one, we kind of wanted to do more too. They based it around Chris Jericho, and Chris Jericho's a pretty busy guy. What we did, that was actually called a pilot or a first episode. It's something where you go out, the networks spend the money, they spend the time to put together a story. and they make one and they hope that it does well. To be honest with you, even though that we were on it, we never heard what happened to it or why. I do know that Chris Jericho went right back to wrestling within about 30 days after it aired. So, everybody I've talked to, it seems like we got pretty good feedback. A lot of people were very interested in it. It just kind of ended. I never.
Yeah. Well, the thing that got me interested in it was the fact that you were out treasure hunting and looking for what we like to look for too is the old treasure stories, lost treasures, hidden treasures, stolen treasures, those kinds of things. And I was really hoping that would have gone a little bit further than what it did. But if our audience hasn't seen this yet, it was really interesting the history of Butch Cassidy, because that's what you guys were looking for. That was really cool. So
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say I really had a lot of fun with that one. Usually, no matter what Treasures of America does, we spend a lot of months in the office. I call it the home office or the office. We all take our own parts on the research. We don't even step out the door until we feel like that we have a really good story. We have a lot of evidence. We have a lot of clues to go after. So that one, working with the producers and with Travel Channel themselves, it gave us a great opportunity. We're used to doing it ourselves. And before I knew it, we had these producers in the network just coming up with information like, oh, that's great. That's a good name. I'll give them a call. Let's get some more information. So it was just a really well put together story in the way of the research for sure. I bet you we worked on that one for about 5 months before we even went out and filmed. So that 5 months was just prepping, talking to other experts, digging up stories and clues and maps and, talking to people that grew up in the area that went after Butch Cassidy or knew of the story. So it was really a lot of fun to do that one.
I'll bet. Now, if I remember correctly, your crew, your team.
We call it the team.
Your team. They're all specialists in their own fields, right?
They are, yeah, exactly. Like Todd, Todd, go ahead and tell them what you do. Put you on the spot.
What does he do? I don't know. What do I do?
I don't know. What do I do?
Your turn.
I've been treasure hunting for about 30 plus years in metal detecting, gold mining. I just like getting out. So I bring a lot of different things. We've got Dave, who's a diver, and Sean's a climber. We've tried to cover everything, so no matter what we get into, we can do it.
Yeah, that was a really good point, Todd. And here's the thing that's really crucial, you guys. I've been an outdoors person ever since I was 6 years old. My dad bought me my first pair of hiking boots, and he said, "Let's go out hiking," and I love doing that, just getting outdoors, the camping, the hiking, all that kind of stuff. But it was around the time of 5th grade when I realized that I really loved history. And so I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing different techniques, I guess you can say, different ways of treasure hunting and stuff like that. But in these last 20 years is when I've really grown. And one thing that I stumbled across is that even though I had an authentic Spanish map in my hands, or I've been finding clues, let's say a Spanish smelter, or let's say I'm finding petroglyphs, whatever it is, rock carvings, I knew I was in the right area, where the treasure is supposed to be. But there were things that stopped me when I used to do it by myself. I would be on land. Let's say I come up to a lake. I'm like, man, the clues are saying there could be structures, there could be artifacts in the water. I can't dive. Same thing with climbing. I'd come up to a base or to the top of the mountain, let's say, and I'd look down, I'd see a base and go, man, if I was a good climber, I can keep following those clues and go down that cliff, So anyways, the same thing with metal detecting, like Todd, he comes with so many years of metal detecting and gold panning and prospecting. That's how the team started. I finally got to the point where I couldn't do it by myself. I knew I couldn't. I work on so many sites now. I have so many sites that I've been working on for years, and I don't want that hard work to always have to stop, when I get to a certain point. Like, I can't do that. So creating the team made it to where we could just, it doesn't matter what comes our way, we can attack it, and we can do it safely, and we can do it in the correct way to keep going.
Right. So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. So, listen, hey, this is what's great about live. It's just, we're just sitting here talking. See, now I forgot. Remind me. I forgot.
Ruby hit him in the head.
Bing.
So are there things that you have found that you weren't really expecting to find? You're looking for one thing. You're looking for your keys and you find a comb instead.
That's a good question too, and I'm sure Todd has some stories before he teamed up with Treasures in America. But a lot of people ask me when people know that I'm a treasure hunter, the first thing they ask is, "What have you found? What treasure have you found? Give me all the information. Well, how much was it worth?" And to be honest with you, yeah, I in my possession I have a Spanish coin that was dated back to the middle 1600s. I have a Spanish sword that I found that was dated back to the late 1700s to the early 1800s. I found things like that, and those things are awesome. But I don't know how to explain it to you. And the best way I can is those things are great. But I went to school for anthropology, and when I first started, I started with archaeology because I thought that it was the artifacts and stuff that I was passionate about, I guess you can say. But as I started going out in the field and doing it for myself after a couple of years, when I started finding the carvings left in rocks that literally were leaving clues, or when I was finding Spanish arrastras and smelters and the Spanish mines and stuff like that, I found that I was actually more passionate, not necessarily about the artifact, but about what those people were doing there. When were they there? What were they doing? And, their whole story, where did they come from? That's where anthropology comes in. That's been my specialty, I guess you can say, and something that I really like doing. And that's where Todd comes in, because with him and all his years of metal detecting, I take that anthropology, I guess you can say, and then we also bring in the archaeology when he's using his metal detector and finding things in the ground. And it's just another great way to date things and answer those questions.
You know what? That's really cool, because I'll relate a little story, and I think this is probably what you're talking about. I got stuck in Nevada a long time ago for a whole summer. Car broke down. I had to work in a silver mine. But I exploring out in the desert in Nevada, right? I come across an old fire ring with stones sitting all around it.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, really cool. But that, as cool as that was, sitting on the rock and realizing that what I was sitting at was where a bunch of Native Americans had sat and made points, because there was chips everywhere, all around.
Oh, wow.
where these rocks were at. I mean, you could see. I mean, it's that sitting down on one of the rocks, right? And visualizing this Native American sitting here, and you find a piece, a broken point where he had been working it and broke it, and you could just see. I mean, it was like I could visualize myself sitting there doing that, hitting it too hard, it break it, and throwing it down, getting another one, and there was just every one of these rocks. There's probably about 8 of them around this fire ring, this fire pit. About 8 of them, and every one of them had chips around. So in my mind, I'm thinking there must have been a hunting party or something that was making up new points, and they were sitting at the camp, at the end of the night, making new points for the next day, and the one hits it and breaks it and goes, or whatever they say, whatever their language, all pissed off about, breaking that point because it was almost done, and you could see.
Doggone it, squatting dog, hand me that
Right,
peace pipe. I broke another one.
So that is kind of like what you were just explaining. That's how I visualize what you're doing, being able to find stuff like that. and then in your mind being able to visualize what was happening there. There was no carvings, but I could see that there was activity there, and that's what kind of got me really interested in Native American stuff, treasure hunting, you know. So that's a cool feeling, and I'm taking over. I'm sorry.
When you're researching a story and you get into it and you put a lot of time and effort into this story, and then you get out in the field and you find a carving or you find a relic or something that ties, validates the story that you've been researching, to be able to sit there and think, I'm standing where this guy stood. I've proved this story, or at least part of it.
Right.
And you make, even if it's not a big discovery, but something where you've put that much time trying to find out if this is real. And then you realize that, hey, I found something and it is real. And now I can go to the next one. But standing there in that spot, that's a great feeling. And that's, like I say, even if it isn't a gold bar would be better.
Oh, yeah.
But even if it isn't a gold bar, it's still really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Todd's exactly right. I got to tell you, there's no better feeling that I can describe other than like what he was just saying about, spending all this time researching. I know me and Todd have stories we've been researching for 20 plus years, but there's no better feeling of finally being in that office. Let's say you're doing your research and then you go out in the field. And by the way, when this team goes out in the field, we don't go out, unless we know we found something. I tell everybody, this team hits boots on the ground. We're not even in the car yet, and we just spent $500. It costs a lot of money to do what we do. That we haven't even gotten in the car yet. That's just how much it takes to get everybody together, get the equipment that we need and stuff like that. But anyways, there's no better feeling than being at a site and finding those kind of things. And I can give you an example. Rock monuments, let's say. Rock monuments were used by the Spanish and many other cultures. Let's go to a Spanish site, let's say. I worked on certain sites where I spent the time, I talked to people, local Indians, whatever it was, and I think I finally pinpointed the location, let's say. I call it the area of interest, or ground zero once you start finding something that proves that you're in the right area. And you'll start finding these really tall rock monuments. If you're finding some of the first ones, they should be anywhere from 5 to 10 feet tall. And so when you start finding these monuments and then you get closer and you get deeper and deeper and you get closer to that treasure or that mine or whatever, let's say it's a tomb, let's say it's a vault of all the people's record. Whenever you start getting closer, those signs and clues start getting smaller and smaller. So here you find big rock monuments, and the rock monuments are getting smaller and smaller as you're getting deeper in. You start finding tree carvings, rock carvings. There's no better feeling than, hey, look at all this work that we put into it already, and look at what we're finding. We're actually getting closer and deeper into finding whatever it is that they're leaving clues behind to discover.
But yeah, then you got guys like me who just stumble on this stuff for you.
And that happens too sometimes.
Well, yeah, that's why I was asking if you've ever, found something that you weren't really looking for. Yeah. You were looking for something else and you found this instead,
And that does happen, and the more and more you do this, I don't know about everybody else who does it the way I do, but I go on a family vacation and I'm driving and I can't help to be going like this, everywhere that I'm going. And I'm just looking for more clues, because once you kind of learn what to look for, you're looking for anything unnatural in the desert, in the mountains, wherever it is. So yeah.
It looks out of place.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. That's how I spotted that particular area, because that didn't look like anything else around where we were. You know what we were doing? We were going around picking pine nuts.
Oh,
those are delicious. Those are delicious. But that's what we were doing, and when we ran into this, So, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
So, what have what's been like your I don't want to say scariest, but most dangerous adventure you've been on? Are you looking for something? How extreme have you gotten?
Well, I can say danger wise, one thing, I've taken a lot of classes. I've been doing construction for over 20 years. I've taken, well, here, I'll step back. I work for some of the largest contractors in the United States. They spend a lot of money on classes for safety and stuff like that. So that's one thing that I am big about, even with the team as large as ours, with all these guys running around going, hey, we're about to find the mother lode. Let's go, let's go. We always think safety, but one of the most dangerous things that I think I can think about would be going in these ancient mines. I've been in hundreds of mines. Some of them are more newer. Some of them could be 50 years old. Some of them could be hundreds of years old. And some of these old mines, they can get you in some trouble. People don't realize that you got to go in there. You got to be careful. You don't want to be touching the walls. You don't want to yell and use your deep voice, the vibrations. And the other thing would be caving. With what we do, we actually find ourselves getting into caves and stuff like that. And I've been in a couple that, they start off big, and before you know it, you get that sense of, what happens if there's something around the corner and you push yourself and push yourself. There was one time there, it's called the Nutty Putty Cave. I wasn't really treasure hunting at that time, but I was exploring the cave and kind of learning what I was doing. And I got myself in a position where I'm going down this tube, and I was like, uh-oh, I can't get out. And I couldn't really back up. I couldn't do anything. So, just that alone, those mines and those caves are very dangerous. And like I said, or I should say, you need experience, and you need to ease into that kind of stuff. I didn't just find my first one and just go inside for a quarter of a mile and just explore. I went in slowly, and I've done many different mines to where you got to respect caves and mines, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect example of that going on right now in Thailand.
Yeah.
Those kids
Those scouts that are trapped because of the water. I heard about that.
Yeah,
they might have to stay there months or learn how to dive.
Just saw a thing that they got them out today.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
But that'd be scary.
They got them out?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they got them out. I know they found them.
They found them, but they're trapped behind
water.
They're still trapped.
Yeah, they haven't figured out how they're going to get them out yet. Yeah, that's the problem with going into caves and mines that you don't know what you're doing. Obviously,
caves,
a
mines,
soccer coach,
caverns.
Right, a 25-year-old soccer coach taking a group of 13 to 16-year-old kids into a cave, not knowing what they're doing, is probably not a very good idea.
Yeah,
obviously, because they're not.
I will say right now, do not do it unless you know what you're doing. Ease into it. Really, really be careful, because even still today, when I've said I've been in many, I still get nervous. And you know what? The freakiest thing is just sometimes for me, what I have to do is tell myself it's not worth it. What happens if something did happen? That is a scary thought, being trapped in a cave or in a mine. Let's say it collapsed behind you. You're going to suffocate. You're going to go hungry, claustrophobic. It's dark. So many things can happen. So you got to keep that in mind too,
Your batteries went out. You don't have any more. Your matches are wet. Oh.
Well, there's been times that we've started going into a mine or a cave and just, no, this isn't going to work. Something ain't right here. And if it's something sketchy or even feels sketchy,
trust your gut. Then
trust your gut.
Don't go.
Hey, look, anything can happen. Anything can happen anytime. Perfect example. This weekend, I was with Ed in his creek. It's not a deep creek or anything like that, but I tripped on a rock. I'm 68 years old. I could have broke a hip real easy. Landing the way I did, I got a big old bruise on my hip, but fortunately, okay. Had I broken something, Ed would have had to figure out a way to get me out of there. So you always got to be careful. Always got to be careful.
Hey, Joe, bring your quad down. Hook up the trailer. I don't care if the tire's bad.
Hey,
guys.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I need to take a quick hard break,
Okay.
but we could do it after you say what you want to say, Timothy.
I was gonna. Well, a story. You got a couple minutes? I just
Sure.
want to bring
Sure.
up awareness about mines. I just remembered one that happened to me no more than 2 years ago. But I guess that's kind of a cool thing, or maybe a bad thing. I've been in so many, it's like, anyways. So I was out with my brother, and he came here to visit me from Idaho, and he's like, "Hey, you got to show me some stuff. I see all your stuff on Facebook. I see you on the news. You got to take me out somewhere." And I go, "Okay, I'll take you out to a place where I know that there's some mines." So we started going out and exploring. We didn't even go out that far. And I found one mine that's up a little higher in elevation. I go, "Hey, let's go up there. Let's go check it out. I can see the opening." So we go up there. And that mine, when we got to the opening, it only went in about 20 feet and they stopped. And I remember I was like, "Oh, man, that happens sometimes. Prospects, they start and then they stop. And then all of a sudden I look over and it was no more than maybe 25, 30 feet. I saw this pile of rubble rocks and it was pretty tall. And I was like, "You know what?" And my brother's named Dave. And I go, "Dave, I've seen this before. That looks like a mine has been, someone purposely stacked those to cover up that entrance." He's like, "No way." And I go, "Let's find out." So I start digging through these rocks, and some of these rocks were, twice the size of a basketball, and I'm grabbing them, and I'm getting more and more excited because I realize that I'm in old soil. I'm in old rocks. Someone built this, I would guess still today, at least 150 years ago. And I'm sitting there, moving rocks like a dog, like kicking dirt and stuff like that. And anyways, once I finally got it open up, and by the way, watch out for snakes when you're doing that kind of stuff too. But anyways, once I got it opened up, I was like, "Hey, give me the flashlight," and I'm like, "Wow, yeah," it goes back in there. It gives me the flashlight, and I'm looking around for snakes, bats, whatever it is. I'm like, "Holy cow, Dave, we just opened up this mine. I think it's the first time it's been open in, 150 years plus." And so we went in. And as soon as I went in, I didn't get more than 4 or 5 feet in, and I started feeling kind of woozy, I guess you can say. Right, something just wasn't right. And I go, "Hey, let's get some fresh air." We just, this mine hasn't been disturbed for a long time, and I think we stirred something up. I go outside of the mine, and I stand there for only a couple minutes. I'm like, I'm not feeling good. I'm getting a bad headache. There's something going on here. It wasn't more than 10 steps from there when I decided, let's go back. I'm not feeling good. And my nose started bleeding uncontrollably. I mean, I had my hand like this, and I just had a pile of blood in my nose. It bled the whole way to the vehicle. It bled all the way to the house. And I went home, and I just felt like I wanted to get that fine dust or whatever that was that I was breathing. So I hopped in the shower, and I'm sitting there in the shower. And I mean, I fill up the whole shower full of blood. It was kind of scary. And you know what? I was sick for at least 48 hours after that. I felt like I was going to, I did vomit, but I felt really queasy to my stomach, bad headaches. And that went on for 48 hours afterwards. That's a good lesson about uncovering, things like that.
Did you ever find out what it was? It was just the old air?
Todd might know a little bit more about this than I do, but I think it just had to do with, who knows, maybe the miners started that. It went back in a ways. I never was able to explore it. Maybe they closed it because they hit something they weren't supposed to. Maybe it was just, it hasn't been disturbed for so many years. What do you think, Todd?
Could have been just bad air if you were exerting a lot and opened that up and got a couple of good lungfuls of some bad stuff,
Stagnant air or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So be careful, everybody, for sure.
Yeah.
Always. And on that public service announcement, we'll be we'll be right back after a word from one of our sponsors. So you know what I'm gonna say, right? Don't go away. need to talk to Tim about that MP3 file. I believe it's the file. It's a little choppy, always. Doggone it. All right. Welcome back, everybody. If you're just arriving, welcome to Tuesday Night Hangout Live. Tonight we have Timothy Draper and Todd Anderson of American Treasures in America. Sorry about that.
You got it.
That's Ed for you.
Now, I have a question. It's related to Butch Cassidy. If you're able to answer it. Now, I've always thought Butch Cassidy pulled something like, "Hey, federales, I'll give you this," or "You pretend like I die and I live in peace for the rest of my life." And then he later came back up to the States. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, for me, Todd, I'll let you answer this too. I think it'll be good for them to hear both sides. For me, I like to work on more evidence. It doesn't necessarily need to be facts, but evidence. There is some evidence that, I've heard of stories of him living his life out in Nevada. I've heard stories of him being in, Logandale, Nevada. In fact, someone told me that there was a gravesite for him in that area. I've also heard that he came back up to Utah. And, as the people say, of course, the story goes that he died down in South America. I have not found enough evidence to tell me what I do or do not think, if that makes sense, on that subject.
Yeah.
At this point, you don't really have an opinion on that, huh?
I tried to stay with no opinion. It served me well because, some people want to hear the juicy story, but sometimes, I have plenty of stories, but sometimes if I don't have something to back it up, I don't like to say yes or no, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Right.
It makes total sense. Yeah.
I think there's enough personal stories of friends and family seeing him that it's probable that he came back. And there's some really far out conspiracy type theories that he made all these deals and then came back and was involved in KGC stuff. There's a lot of different things, but I think he came back and tried to live a fairly normal life. I don't think, from all the reading I've done, I don't think he was the type of person to settle down. But I think he came back and tried to live at least as much of a normal life as possible.
Okay.
You hear stories like that about actually quite a few. Jesse James, there's a story about him. He wasn't really killed.
William H. Bonney.
Right. Elvis Presley.
Adolf Hitler.
It seems like the more famous you are,
I think Michael Jackson, Adolf Hitler, and Elvis.
Jim Morrison.
Yeah, they all share a condo in Paraguay.
That's why I try to be careful with that. If you ask one person, Elvis Presley is dead, you ask someone else and they go, no, he's living somewhere on an island where no one can find him.
He's a dork. He's a dork reader at the Walmart.
Yeah,
Oregon, Ohio.
Yeah.
Ain't that Rick James? No.
So yeah, there always seems to be those kind of conspiracy theories, whether they're true or not. And I understand why you wouldn't want to give an opinion on that, especially when you don't have any more than just a conspiracy theory. Hard
Yeah.
to really work on something like that.
You know,
So-
I can tell you my opinion, but I try to keep my opinion again to facts or evidence, and
Right.
so yeah.
Yeah, you can spend a lot of time chasing stories and dreams and whatever, but if you want to be any kind of successful, you got to have some evidence to back up your theories.
Oh yeah, true. And in your lifestyle, along with others, research is more of your job than field work. It's research, research, research. And if you think you've done enough research, do some more research. So
Yeah, ask my wife about research. She'll tell you. I don't know how many times, you know, either she feels like, Tim, you know, let's go do something. You've been at it hard for days now. You know, you basically do this all day long, then you go to bed. And then other times I feel like she wants to kick me out of the room. Like, fine, if that's what you want to do to get out of here, because I can't even tell you how many. I don't even know where I lost track 10 years ago how many hours I've spent on research. But you're exactly right. I would say for every, I would say it's 80% research, 20% out in the field. And that's, you know, maybe 60-40. I'm thinking more 80-20. That's what I think. I've done a little bit of both. And I think the 80-20 is the best way to be successful with what we do.
So let me ask you this: when you're doing research and stuff, and I'm sure you're researching more than one subject, trying to how do you pick what you're going to do more research on, what you're really going to get into to try to find, or you know, find if it's true or not. You know, what drives you to one treasure as opposed to a different treasure?
That's a really good question, actually. That's a very good question. For me, I can tell you in all these years, it does get diverted from one to another. Like right now, I bet you I'm working on probably 15 different major projects right now, 15 of them. And it's funny how some of them kind of, at some point in time, they work together, you know, either they travel through that, another person traveled through that area or whatever. But anyways,
I ask you that too. Do they merge?
That definitely happens. But I will tell you, it's on and off. Let's say in Utah alone, I have around 100 sites that I research. I'm not saying I've been out to all of them, but what I research. And the reason why I research them, there's enough there for me to go, I'm going to spend my time and see where this story takes me, right? Where some of the evidence takes me. And then I'll go out and see if I can find anything out in the field that backs up some of that evidence. But it's an on and off thing, for sure. Sometimes, you know, we're treasure hunters, of course, so we want to go after, you know, whatever we think is not necessarily
out there,
fine, but something that we think that we're getting close to. So sometimes new evidence is being brought forward. I'm on the phone with people daily. Sometimes sometimes I remember not too long ago, I was Facebook messaging 4 people, answering 2 different text messages and the phone, you know, doing this for hours. And it's surprising how some of these, it took a little bit of a talent, I'll tell you that. But anyways, it's surprising how one phone call, one map, one photo can make me go, holy cow, wait a minute. You know, this is that area I was working on last year. And I've been looking for something like that to go further on that research or go further in the field. So sometimes I go, you know, hit the brakes. This one I can come back to. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. This one I can put a pin in it, and I can move over to this new one where I just found new evidence, because this one I got far in research. This one I got far in the field. And now with this newfound evidence that was brought forward, I think I can go even further with that one and possibly make a discovery.
Yeah, diversifying what you're researching and not dropping things, but setting them aside until you can get other information or something. Yeah, we've all got multiple stories that we have worked on, and they're all in different levels of research. And you just, if you get one that you're getting a lot of information, you're finding clues and you're finding information, then you keep going. But you don't throw away all the other stories, because you may hit a snag, you may make a recovery on this one, then you've got another one waiting, coming up down the line. So yeah, we've all got multiple stories that were in different levels of research.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we have a question in the room, guys. Grotty Gold, I believe he's from mainland Australia. Do you guys know how they combated the bad air in ancient mines? Canaries or what?
There was that.
Yeah, canaries are just a way to tell you if the air is getting bad. The canaries will kick over first before the miners do. Once your canary dies, then you get out and
There is modern day technology. I would be lying to you that I use it all the time. I mean, we as a team have been looking at spending money into that kind of technology, stuff that will read the air, tell you if it's good or not, tell you if the oxygen is low. Those kind of devices, if you want to buy one that works, I guess you can say, you're about $500 to $700. If you really want one that really works, that you can trust, you're a couple grand into it. I've been told that we need to use those. I've been with people who have used them. Sometimes I would say that's probably the most modern way how to do it today and to be safe if you have the money.
Yeah, he was asking about ancient mines.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How did they do it? How did they do it back during ancient times? Back then.
About the only thing you can do is open an air shaft to get the air moving. If the air isn't moving,
right?
I mean, you could start a fire, try and get the air sucking. But if there's not a way to get air back in there, there's not a whole lot you can do.
Yeah, David Villa's vented mines brought in fresh air.
Yeah, that makes sense. Almost every, if it was a larger mine that I've been in, almost everyone had multiple entrances, exits, vents, shafts that are coming up from top. They're usually, lots of times you can walk in a mine, and if it's a good sized one, you can feel the air. As soon as you walk in, you can feel the draft. They did create those air vents. Yeah.
I think, referring back to that one that you opened up, I mean, right off the bat, you got to think that there hasn't been any air movement in that for however long it's been closed up. But when you open it up, it didn't really clear the air out yet. Next time, maybe wait a day.
Yeah, I know. And I knew better. And you know what? Again, I'd be lying if I said I was one of those kind of guys that always take my advice. I knew better. But
yeah, you just got excited.
Yeah,
you got excited. You discovered something new, and you just everything went out the window, and you went in the cave. You got sick. That'll teach you.
Exactly right. Yeah, and it did teach me. Now I guarantee you, from this point on, if I open up another one that's sealed off like that, I'll open it up. I'll go make a campfire somewhere, roast some hot dogs or whatever it is for a little bit, and then I'll attempt it. Or like what we were talking about with those new types of devices. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember what they're called. But that would probably be safe for what we do, because it seems like we're going in and out of these kind of mines and caves quite a bit.
Yeah, that might be something worth investing in. At least enough for one person to be able to use it and check it out.
Yeah.
And then figure out a way to clear it out, whatever. Because I know bat guano, when you stir that up, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
But that has a smell, so you would know that.
Yeah.
You know,
We definitely are safe with what we do, but I mean, you can get a paper cut sitting at your desk. The same thing of even being safe when you're out in the field. Sometimes things happen, and so we try to keep that kind of stuff in mind. But
yeah, you just had a momentary lapse of reason.
it's when you start thinking about the treasure and the gold, and any
Right.
kind of
What could be there?
Yeah.
Stacks and stacks, just waiting for somebody.
Yep.
So, are all the treasures that you look for, are they all out west, or do you look at stuff here on the East Coast? There's a lot of stolen loot, hidden treasure here on the East Coast too, or on this side of the Rocky Mountains or this side of the Mississippi. So, I mean, do you ever research any of that?
We do, and go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, we research a lot and read a lot. Just mainly because a lot of it's interesting. Some things tie into things we're working on out west here.
That's a good point. Yeah.
There's just up where I live, not too far away. Jesse James lived for about a year, and so digging into these other treasures and other stories and things all over Mexico. We're looking into all over the United States. We may not act on them, but having that information, that knowledge, is always helpful. And maybe we'll find something that we want to, pursue more.
Yeah, there is a site that I can tell you this much. I can't tell you where it's at. I won't tell you the people that's involved. But Treasure in America, for a good 3 years now, we're getting really close. I mentioned it to you guys before. We are under contract, so I can't tell you everything about the site, but I can tell you that there are several major networks that are very interested in this site because, for one thing, what happened is that this I was approached 3 years ago by someone that said, "Hey, you were on the news, and my brother told me about you, and you guys are treasure hunters, and you use history to find treasures and stuff." And she goes, "I got to tell you a story." So I won't go into it too much because this one I do got to kind of keep quiet. But I can tell you that she went on to tell me that her people have been hiding a secret now for 500 plus years. They hid it from the Spanish, the conquistadors, after they took over the Aztecs. They hid it from other cultures and stuff in their area. They hid it from their government. But anyways, they're holding on to a buried city underneath their village where they live now today. It's one of the poorest villages in Mexico. And for the last couple of years, in fact, Treasure in America is going to be heading down to Mexico probably at the middle of fall. I want to go down and meet with her. I want to get the drone up in the air. I want to get metal detectors on the ground. We're actually looking at a GPR system right now as well. That one's going to be on a drone. It's quite high tech. But anyways, we're being told that there's artifacts and everything that you can go in that area. And their people have known about it, and they've been keeping it secret. They've been afraid, even still today in modern days, they're afraid that their country, Mexico, if they knew about what was on their land, they would take it from them. And they tell me that it rains in that area about 4 to 5 months out of the year. And every time that it rains, it starts uncovering the tops of structures, columns, artifacts, rocks, boulders with carvings on them. And their people still today do the same tradition after the monsoon season that they've been doing for 500 plus years. The whole village goes out there. They cover up all these structures, all these artifacts with mud and branches and anything they can find to keep that secret. We have been told, Treasure in America has been told, I've had meetings on Skype. We got a contract, and letter of intent, I guess you can say, saying that if we can bring that to the public by getting one of the networks to film us, they will let us on their land and start uncovering that lost city and start bringing that history to the public.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah.
You need a translator?
We actually have
wait,
one.
I don't speak Spanish.
That's a good one. We actually have that too. Antonio, you know, he was born and raised in Mexico. He is our foreign interpreter, you know, our communicator basically. So we actually do have a lot of things going on in Brazil, Ecuador, and Mexico right now. There are, the more and more I dig into it, the more people I'm reaching out to and stuff like that. Those I'm going to have to save the rest of the information because it is important for me to keep it quiet. It's one of those things. If I told everybody, let's say I go on YouTube right now, I told everybody the story, there's nothing to tell after that, right? So the networks are looking at it as, you're under contract, you guys need to keep this kind of stuff quiet because we are thinking about getting you guys your own TV show and going down there and bringing that to the public.
That's what I've been hoping you get your own TV show. It was cool seeing you with that wrestler Jericho, Chris Jericho. I'm not a wrestling fan. I haven't been since the days of Bobo Brazil. So that's how long it's been for me. But you know, but
he was a really nice guy. We had a great time with him.
Yeah. Bobo Brazil?
No.
You mean Chris Jericho? Those guys are pretty cool. You know, but I've been hoping that you guys get your own show because I thought the whole idea of what you were doing, I thought that was cool because a lot of us are into treasure hunting, we're into history. We have a lot of our friends are metal detectorists and gold prospectors. You know, they hunt for all kinds of different things, like we were talking earlier. So yeah, I hope that you do get that show. It'd be great to watch it. Of course, we all know how those shows like to portray the drama, and it's going to really suck because you're not going to get to do exactly what you want to do. You know?
Yeah. Filming is definitely a different beast for sure. You know, when you're filming, half the time we're not even in control. We can do whatever we want, but by the time it's edited and, you know, the networks go through and they try to make it look like the way they want to. I'm not saying they do a bad job. I'm not saying that they try to hide things or try to add things, but it's really up to them. You know, we can just go out and do what we do, but after that, it's in their hands for sure.
Yeah, your story is different from the story that they want to put out.
Yeah.
And it was really funny because when the director would say cut and they'd go to set up the next scene, all us treasure hunters would grab the metal detectors and head out and start detecting.
Yeah.
You know, we're out doing our thing while they were setting up for the next scene.
Right. You don't know what cut means.
Yeah. We'd have to get called back because we were all scattered out with the metal detectors, you know, looking for treasure, doing our thing.
You can take the man out of the treasure side, but you can't. No, I was saying that backwards. How would you say that? You can take the man. I don't know. I think you're wrong.
You're not actors. You're treasure hunters.
That's right.
You don't know what cut means and take two and all that stuff. Yeah. And you know, like Wayne just said, they're into drama. They're into trying to build the audience up for the next scene. You know. When there's a different story that you guys are actually trying to tell, like I said, is different from what they want to show. Because what you do is, let's face it, it can be boring, you know, and they don't want to show that. They don't want to show walking around swinging for 2 hours. You know, they'll show a little bit, and then they'll throw some drama in there for you know.
Well, our claim jumping buddy Patrick Moore. Just kidding, Patrick. But he asks, wondering if, like in another TV show, do they ask for you to act drama or like, hey, can you do that different? Do that same thing again for us, but add this or... That might be a no-go section, Patrick. But
I can't. I have to be careful with that. But the best way to explain that, I would think, is that for the most part, those kind of scenes are real. Sometimes it could be as simple as, oh, hey guys, wait, Todd's mic wasn't on. You guys are going to have to do that again, you know? Or it could be, hey, wait. You just did something really cool. I can't believe you just did, but the camera was at the wrong angle. Can you redo that? So to answer your question, what we do is it's a scripted, unscripted. So the scripted, all there is a general plot. It'd be no different than what I would do with my team. Hey guys, we're going out to this location where we got this evidence. We're going to use this map and we're going to go look for this. That's basically a scripted, non-scripted. After that, I mean, lots of times on the Travel Channel, I was standing next to Chris Jericho, and we both look at each other and go, what's the next scene? And, you know, the producers would say, okay, go do your thing. Hop in your razor, go find something, you know. So a lot of it is actually a lot more real than what it seems. But like you guys hit the nail right on the head. Even though we're doing stuff that's cool, even though we can make discoveries and stuff like that, if you guys had a camera on us 24/7, yeah, you're going to be like, oh man, yeah, you know, okay, this is boring. You're hiking for the last 3 hours. But then all of a sudden something would happen. You go, whoa, look at that. That's cool, you know. So I don't know. I hope that kind of answers the question. It's not really a scripted thing.
And that's where the director would jump in and say, hey, you just did something really cool. Let's get it from a different angle. You go, yeah. Oh man, how are we going to do that?
Oh, we know that because we do the same thing when we're out recording. You know, we'll start the day off and here's what we want to do. This is what we want to show. You know, and then we got going, and sometimes the camera, sometimes the camera's rolling right, and sometimes it's not. But we don't really try to do the second shot. It is what it is.
Yeah. And you know, another thing too of being treasure hunters, we are way more successful when cameras are not on us. You'd be surprised how many miles we cover, how many things that we find. When the cameras are on you, you're confounded to these camera guys. Like when we did the Travel Channel, how many people were there? Todd, what, 30 people, 30 camera people?
There was like,
I was going to say, you probably had a couple dozen people there.
It gets frustrating for people like us. There was even one point, it was by the third day, I looked at Chris and I go, Chris Jericho. Sorry, Chris Jericho. But I looked at him and I go, dude, you suck. And he looks at me and goes, well, you just told me how to do this yesterday. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, I kept having to tell you, put your melee detector down on the ground, swing it back and forth. You know, I've been keep trying to tell you. And he got kind of mad at me. And I go, okay, hey, I'll give you some credibility. If I went in the ring with you right now, you'd kick my butt. So you know what? I'm good at this. You're good at that kind of thing. But it does kind of get, you know, Treasures in America. I've wanted to show a lot more. Whenever we've gone out on our trips, we've actually had GoPros. We've had cameras. Ryan has been our camera guy. We actually have a lot of footage, but we're finding that is really hard, and that's why getting on TV, you know, and working with these producers is kind of taking the work away from us, which is good. But when we try to produce our own stuff out in the field, it just slows us down. It's surprising how.
Every YouTuber in our audience knows just how that feels. Yeah. How much more digging could we get done, guys, if it wasn't like, here, let's film this. How's this camera angle?
Yeah.
And we're small fish compared to some of the other bigger YouTubers in our niche. So
don't forget to get that in the video too. Don't forget to get that shot.
Now, our friend David Buckle from Tasmania asked, do you have a YouTube channel for Treasures in America?
We do. If you just type in, if you just type in Treasures in America, you will find us. You'll see our logo, which is this right here. This compass is how you identify Treasures in America. If you just do that search in the search bar, you'll find us. We have a few videos out there. Some of them are ones we've done on our own. Some of them are, you know, things that me and the team has done with local news and, you know, things like that. Other people have interviewed us. So that is on there. We're hoping to add more to that, but again, we're just like what we were talking about. It's tough, you know. We Treasures in America is not only just trying to do stuff on camera, we're trying to make real discoveries. We're trying to bring history and this kind of stuff to the public. So, yeah.
And treasure hunting's weird because there's things you want to tell people, show people, motivate people, and then there's things that you want to keep secret and maybe you can't tell people yet, or and so we walk a really fine line between secrecy and trying to motivate and educate people. And sometimes you get back home and you look at all your footage and it's really good for what we're doing, but maybe isn't very motivational, other than it's pretty or cool, or but it's not exciting or whatever. And so videoing is kind of weird.
And like what Todd said too, I bet you every treasure hunter can agree with me here. If everybody knew what I knew, or if I knew whatever all the rest of them knew, we'd all be finished. So Todd is exactly right. Like what we talked about earlier, that research, thousands and thousands of hours, and maybe 10. I'm sure for me it's tens of thousands. I know for Todd it's the same way. And it becomes a part of you. It's a part of you, of what you do, and you worked hard for it. And so we do have to be careful. Sometimes when we've gone out and filmed on our own, we think, oh, this is perfect, and let's film us doing this and that. And then we go back and start editing, and we realize that there were landmarks in the background that would give away our location to people who knew that area. So then we're like, never mind, there goes that film, or let's don't put that up. So secrecy, I always tell everybody, if you think you know everything about what Treasure in America is doing, think twice, because we control what we show. We control what we show, and I bet you we're showing about 10% of what we really are doing. And I don't mean that in a way like we're deceiving. I just mean whatever you're getting from us, those are real adventures. But the other stuff, the other 90%, we had to cut out because we had to protect that work that we put into it.
Well, even us as small time as we are, we have to protect our areas too. I mean, we can't film, can't give the name of, where we're at, simply because
that's
if
why
you do
we
that,
use
everybody
the term No Tell 'em Creek a lot.
Right, people, I mean, and they have the right to come out there. That's not like they don't have the right. It's just,
right.
It just sucks to go out and find holes all over where you've been digging.
Right. Been there, done that.
All right. So,
yeah. I was going to say I have a story about that too. So I was on the news. I'm not going to tell you who was involved. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I can tell you I was on the local news. I told a big story that was it brought on, every time I do a story on this one area, it brings on anything from angry people to people trying to cover up stories to people trying to find the information themselves. And in one of the videos that I did, or on the news, I believe it might be on our YouTube channel. It could be on Facebook. It is on Facebook. The links are. Anyways, I showed the public some information that I found, and I showed the camera guy. Everybody was able to see what I was talking about and how I changed the way that people have seen that information before. I brought something new to it that gave everybody a new area. And in my opinion, here's my evidence. This is where it is. And I'm telling you, I met with after that news channel, I met with several people. There were different people from affiliations that were involved with the past history, that got involved. They had meetings with me. I started showing people some of these areas off camera, and I thought I can trust people. I went back the third day. So this is my third time filming with a different news channel. And as they were filming me, I'm walking backwards going, okay, guys, this is what I'm going to show you. It's right. Where is it? What happened? And so that's an example. I mean, right there on the camera, it affected me in a way that I wasn't expecting. Not only was I a little bit upset, I definitely was upset, but I mean, I'm like, no, wait a minute, that's my evidence right there, and it's gone. And I've only shown a few people this. And so we've all kind of learned in our own way that we have to be careful with what we show and who we tell, because that stuff happens a lot. It really does.
Right.
Yeah.
Way too
Yes.
much.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, but,
You know,
you want to motivate the next generation, or brag a little bit to your friends or whatever,
Right.
and that line between secrecy and education and motivation is, for treasure hunters, it's a really fine line, and there's story after story after story of treasure hunters.
It even happens out here happens out here in Ohio, Indiana. People start talking about where they're at and the kind of gold they're finding. Next thing you know, there's tons of people there and land, because here, you have to get permission. That was another question I was going to ask about.
Or you're on a club lease or something.
Right. So, so it can be, you got to be careful how much information you get put out there. But at the same time, I was going to ask you too, do you do a lot of instructional stuff, like to kids, to groups or anything like that? Is that anything part of what you do?
We are working on that as we speak. Treasures in America business plan is going to kick off on August 10th. Now, that's just the retail part of Treasures in America. That's phase 1 out of 5. We are putting up the online store. We're going to be on eBay, Amazon, all the major selling platforms with over 50,000 products. And phase 2 is either going to be the membership program or it's going to be the touring program. And like I said, there's 5 phases. And so we're focusing on phase 1, but when we get to that, I think the membership and the tour will really help out. It's a way that, we can start educating people, and it'll include maybe like videos for members only, or maybe there'll be public ones too. And we're still refining that idea. It's just kind of a idea as of now, but it's definitely something after August 10th, when we're done focusing on the retail part of Treasures in America, we will be going to that one next. And I think that one would be important. I like meeting new people. I like teaching. I like doing those kind of things. I like learning from other people. Treasures in America has reached from West Coast to East Coast. I have friends in Florida. You guys, there's friends. There's tons of people I talk to all the time. And one thing that I've really learned is I enjoy mingling with people. And so what you're talking about would be a great idea, things to maybe start teaching people, doing instructional videos, I guess you can say, and just things like that.
So you say you got a store. What kind of stuff do you have in your store? Is it mining equipment and clothes? Is it all of the above?
It's going to be a one of a kind. I can tell you this: Treasures in America has been fortunate because of the things that we've done, like what we talked about with the news channels and with the networks and stuff like that. It has given us leverage to where, when I came up with the idea that we came up with is, hey, as treasure hunters and climbers and scuba divers, we need this equipment, and we like to buy the good stuff. We try to save our money and, buy the good equipment. And we came up with this idea on, let's reach out to the manufacturers. Let's reach out to these distributors. So anyways, to make a long story short, it's taken a year now, but Treasures in America has landed some of the largest distributors in the world for camping equipment, hiking equipment, climbing equipment, metal detecting equipment. I can go on and on. I can say this. My IT guy is working on it now, and for the first time, there's stores out there. I don't know if you guys have them out there, but REI is one of them here. They specialize in really good quality of hiking and lightweight tents and, climbing gear and stuff like that. And then you got Sportsman's Warehouse and, Cabela's and stuff like that focus more on the hunting. Well, Treasures in America, with these suppliers and distributors, we're not only just bringing you guys metal detectors that we offer, we're bringing you the camping, we're bringing you the crossbows, we're bringing you the reloading tools for guns and stuff like that. We are literally going to have just about everything you can think of. If you're an outdoorsman, you can come to our store and you will find what you're looking for. I guarantee you that. And they're not just all top brand stuff. We have been very fortunate with grabbing different distributors that have a little bit more affordable items, all the way up to your mid-range items to your expensive stuff. So there's going to be a lot of everything for anybody's budget.
Very cool. And you say, when is that going to open?
My launch date, unless if it changes, I'm being told by my IT guy that we are launching August 10th. August 10th. Right now, everything's being built offline, so no one can really see what we're doing. But the website, and it's called Bridging It to Amazon, Bridging It to Facebook Business, Bridging It to eBay and stuff like that. On August 10th in the evening, which is Friday, all of a sudden my IT guy is going to flip a switch, and everything will go live on all those major platforms, all of the supplies, all the products on all of them. It'll just go like that, and it'll be live. So August 10th is the date for that one. As of right now, you can go to treasuresinamerica.com. We have about 2,000 products that are posted right now, and there's tents. There's a lot of everything there, but there's going to be another 20 times more here by August 10th.
Well, that's probably pretty exciting to you then, huh?
It is, yeah. It's another stepping stone that you can say. One thing of being a treasure hunter, there's two things actually. Two things a treasure hunter needs. That's time and money. And so
ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
and another thing, it's not just about money, guys. I gotta say, I put a lot of heart, and so have the other guys with selling products. I have worked my butt off talking to these guys for months, if not a year now, on some of them, trying to get them to let me drop the prices of these products. It's not easy. Most manufacturers tell all the resellers that you can have our equipment, but you can't sell it for less than this, which makes it everybody has to pay the same price for everything. And we have really worked our butt off to get as many products as we can to where we can sell them for under MAP price, so we can bring everybody the same equipment for a little bit less. So like my wife made a joke the other day, you're becoming like the Walmart of sportsmen's. And that's true. We have good stuff, but we can sell them at a good price. And, and there's stuff that we believe in. There are brands and equipment that we have used and we would stand behind out in the field.
That's cool.
It's kind of funny how that got started is, we'd be out in the field and people would see the videos or we'd be talking to people and they're like, well, where can we get that? And we'd, send them off to somebody else. And we were all kind of standing around going, well, why are we sending these people to someplace else? Let's sell it ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's just really taken off, and it's really exciting.
So when you first started this, did you think that it was going to get like this, where you got all this store that you're going to be opening up? Is that why you started this, or is it just the way it happened?
No, not at all. This is all heart and passion. That's exactly what all this is. I know the same thing about Todd. I know the same thing about all my guys. I can tell all my guys tomorrow, forget all business plans, forget everything. We're just going to do what we like doing. And we're not going to make any money. I don't know how we're going to do it, guys, but we're going to figure it out. And they would all be right there beside me going along with it. So it had nothing to do with money. It had nothing to do with strategy. It has to do with our passion and our love for what we do. And meeting it, I tell everybody all the time, it just evolves. It literally does. Like, we get an idea, let's do this and let's do this. And we meet new people, we get new connections. And then all of a sudden, someone brings up, hey, how come we haven't thought about this? If we do this, then maybe we'll get this result, and it's like, oh yeah, you're right. A year ago, we didn't have that capability. There's no way we could have done that. But now, that's a possibility. Let's try that.
And a lot of it goes with that, trying to motivate people. We really, we have a great time going out, and we want other people to have that same great time. And part of that motivating people is that, I'd like to go out, but I don't have a tent or whatever, so we want to help people. We want to motivate them, and we want to give them the tools and equipment to go out and have their own adventure.
Yeah. Just like our hashtag find your adventure or hashtag history is waiting. We still to this day use those on all social media, and we stand behind that. And that find your adventure has a huge meaning. And many different people can think of it as different, but we look at it as whatever that means to you, however that motivates you. It doesn't matter what you do. You might just want to get on your canoe and go fishing. It doesn't matter what it is, whatever you enjoy doing, that thing that you've been sitting around thinking about for the last couple months going, the job is stressing me out and, the everyday life, yada, yada. Find your adventure means don't just think about it. Make plans and go out and do it. Actually go do what you enjoy doing, because that's what we do.
Right.
I like that. Find your adventure.
Yeah.
Let me take a quick break real quick again, guys, and mind if we open up the phone lines and get some calls coming in?
Yep. That works for me.
Excellent.
That's good.
What's the call?
All right. Well, you know what I'm going to say next, huh? I won't say it then.
I don't know. What are you going to say next, Ed?
We'll be right back.
Oh.
Adventure, mystery, discovery. Gold panning is more than a search for process. Panning journeys can take you to amazing places all around the world. It is an experience for all ages, bringing families closer together and fulfilling a spark of excitement when life has grown too dull. The Gold Claw Pan makes it easier to take part in the journey than ever before. This expertly designed pan is made for any skill level and any age. All you need is an explorer's heart and the passion for discovery. Begin your family's gold story now. Order your Gold Claw Pan today and see where the adventure takes you.
All right, that segment of the show is brought to you by our friends at Gold Claw. If you're just joining us, we have treasure hunters Todd Anderson and Timothy Draper from several networks, I guess. But no, just one network, right? Travel Channels? Treasures in America.
Yeah.
Okay, as of right now, Treasures in America. We'll be opening up our phone line, so call up and let's hear some killer questions for our guests.
Don't forget, turn your volume down when you call in.
Yes, please. Thank you.
So let's see, where were we? What is on your bucket list?
I like that question. Okay, I got that. I was just talking about that to some of my team members today. To be honest with you, my biggest historical sites, I guess you could say, or culture would be the Spanish, going after the Spanish history. And I was just talking about that today. What I would really love, here we are working on things in Utah, Arizona, California, Nevada, New Mexico. That's just that area. The Spanish, when you think about the whole story, they came from Spain, right? They took their ships all the way over the ocean and came into, the Bahamas, the Caribbean. There was a port in Mexico. They also went south of the port of Mexico into South America. They went into Mexico. They went into North America. I would love to keep doing what I'm doing with the information I have and then backtrack, go to those ports, sail the oceans in the Caribbean, go to Spain, go look at the old documents and stuff like that. That, in my opinion, would be cool. All this work that I've done, I can kind of take that trip and do that and see that.
Cool. Ed, you got a caller?
Yeah, we have Jonathan Peretta of Hookmeisters Prospecting and Outdoors. And Jonathan, I'm hearing an echo from you, buddy.
Yep.
I don't know what it would be because everything is turned down.
Well, I don't know what to
I have
tell
nothing
you.
on.
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, I'm going to move into the kitchen.
No, it
How's
could
this?
actually be Timothy.
I got everything turned down. I'm in the
yeah.
other room now.
Yeah, it
Go
could
ahead,
be
Hook.
Timothy.
Yeah, go ahead, Hook.
Go ahead, buddy.
All right. Hey, for one, great show. Timothy and Tom, I tell you what, I've seen several of your videos. I like them. But I had a couple questions, and one of them being, when you go in thinking you're going in small, looking for smaller stuff, how often have you come into finding big things that you got to bring heavy equipment in, then have to up your, do you have to change your permits or whatever? I mean, how often has that happened to you?
Well, I can tell you that it's happened many times, but answering that question, we are working on that right now. Since Dredger America is 3 years old, that's when I formed this team. That's what this team is working on right now. I came to these guys going, this is as far as I can go, guys. We got to pull permits to do this. We got to get heavy equipment. You know, Antonio on our team has 20 plus years in heavy equipment. So that question, I can answer that by saying that's where we're at right now with all these sites that we've been talking about. You know, just in Utah alone, Arizona, these other places, we are trying to come up with game plans of how we're going to approach these sites, because that's where we're at with a lot of these. It's like, you know, we're at the point that we know where it's at. We have these maps. We've used the technology. We know where the treasure is. We got to spend the money, and we got to figure out how we're going to get equipment all the way up the mountain and get the Forest Service to back us up on this, you know, and spend all the money to do it in order to make a discovery. So it's actually happening quite a bit at this point. And that does make us stop. When that happens, the brakes hit, and we got to really plan this. It prolongs things for sure.
So that actually really puts you guys, if you go in small and you end up finding something, you got to go big. So it like really changes everything then, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. Yeah. It pretty much stops us. You know, here in Utah, I don't know if it's the same thing back east, but here in Utah, there are certain laws that stop us from doing things. There are also ways to get around those laws. One thing is claiming mines or doing mine claims in the area, pulling permits. There are things that we can do, but it definitely, you know, I was talking to my team about this. The state of Utah, let's say if it's in Utah, they can pretty much prolong us for years before they even respond to permits to let heavy equipment in the area. So sometimes we're always having to change what we're doing. You know, sometimes we have to put a pin in that, and then move on to another site while we're figuring out the paperwork, as you can say, on this one.
Right.
And one thing that we've done and continue to do is we're working with several museums, archaeologists, so that when we have to go in and get a permit or do something a little bigger, we've got the legitimacy, we've got the legality. You know, last thing we want to do is get in trouble with the government. Because
so the last thing any of us want to do.
So, you know, we've really tried to work with state and federal officials to get a good reputation and you know, keep everything legal and above board.
Right.
But it is difficult because you bring up, you know, you gotta go about it smart. You bring up treasure to somebody and they'll laugh at you or shut you down, or you know, you may find out that they've gone in and got it while you weren't looking, while you were sitting there trying to get a permit. So yeah, it happens a lot.
Right. And one other question, I didn't quite, I was having some technical difficulties a while ago. We had to use a different search engine to bring the video up because my chat wasn't working. But what is the main piece of equipment you use other than just like maps and history books to locate your equipment? I mean, when you go in actually search in an area.
We do have the Mine Lab metal detectors. That's where Todd comes in. He's our metal detecting guy. We have the SDC 2000, which is great for looking for gold. We have the CDX 30. We have the drones. We actually use the drones quite a bit. It's surprising how that technology has changed things even in my generation. You know, drones now are being used. We have some really nice ones. We're actually looking at buying a piece of equipment that's a drone, or it's a DJI M600 with a GPR on it, to where now we can do ground penetration from the air. So.
Cool.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
I'd like to have that.
Yeah, that's like that website you were showing, Jesse, I believe.
No, they use
LAR or something like that.
well, there's LARs out there
LiDAR?
also. Yeah, LiDAR. There's
LiDAR.
LiDAR.
The LiDAR, yeah.
And
those are very expensive. I mean, when you talk about GPR and LiDAR, like what we're talking about, you're talking anywhere from 40 to 60 grand for those kind of things.
Right.
Wow, that's crazy. You can buy a house for that and rent it out.
Maybe where you're from, that I'm surprised you said that. Where we're at, I mean, where I'm at in St. George, I can't even find a home for less than, you're about 200 grand where we're at here in Utah. I've heard back east of the homes are quite a bit different priced.
Oh yeah.
You can buy rental properties for a low price, but to buy one for yourself and your family is a different story.
Yeah, you can have my 3-bedroom for 50 grand, can't? And I'll still come out ahead.
That's Jesse, you're something else, buddy.
Yeah, he is.
But no, I'm just wondering, just due to the fact my wife has recently really got into this metal detecting. We were over in Ohio. We had some truck problems, and she met Jocelyn. And, well, my yard now looks like a landfill. And they have found all kinds of things. I mean, we're actually thinking that my yard actually used to be part of an old farm homestead of some kind, because we're finding big barn spikes, square nails and everything. So I was just wondering. And my mother-in-law and father-in-law own a house about 4 blocks away, and the original deed was in the house when they bought it, and it was actually had 3 gas wells and 300 acres and everything. So I just kind of curious how things go from small scale to big scale, and how fast, and just how much it changes things. So if that makes sense, if I'm saying that right. So
no, it doesn't. And I was just thinking, it's kind of a slow process. A lot of these sites that we're working on are we've been working on for a long time. So it literally, sometimes it goes into, instantly like, oh crap, we can't go any further without bringing in the big guns. But lots of times it's kind of evolving into that, if that makes sense. Sometimes it's a couple of years into it, and then we're like, oh, now we know what we need to do. We know what's in the ground, or we know what's in this cave. We know that there's some secret hidden mines, and just things like that. So it's not too big of a surprise, if that makes sense. It's usually we know what's coming.
Right. Well, how often has it happened to where you go in thinking you're going to find one thing, and then all of a sudden it becomes something totally different? Has that happened to you quite often?
For me, it has. Todd probably has some of his own stories before he came on to Treasures in America. For me, I've seen that happen. But go ahead. It looked like you were nodding your head on that one, Todd.
Well, I was going to say, usually it's not so much that it changes or you find something different. Sometimes you'll go into a place and you'll find a side quest. You'll find something that'll take you in a different direction. Now, your first thing that you were looking for is still there, and you may find it. but you may find other information or other clues or something to another location or another treasure or something. So you get sometimes you'll find something different, but usually you'll find something extra or you'll find something additional, not something completely different.
All right. Well, I'm not going to keep. It looks like there's a lot of other people got some other questions. I'm just curious. My wife's really getting into this treasure hunting thing, and I'm a gold prospector, and I like just being in the water. But thanks for answering the questions and everything, and it's been a great show tonight. You guys have a lot of knowledge between the two of you, so I hope things keep going good, and just look me up on Facebook, Hookmeister Prospecting Outdoors.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
and I'll put you out there.
Yeah, look us up. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Ed, Jesse, everybody. Have a good time, and great show tonight.
Thank you, Hook.
Okay, Hook. Sometime tomorrow, give me a call, would you?
Yes, I will.
All righty.
Yeah, we want to get
All
down
right.
there real soon.
Yeah, the water's down now.
I saw
hopefully you guys
that.
seen
I
the
saw
footage.
that.
Yeah,
I saw that. I saw your gold can too. So
Yeah, you seen the gold that Chris Dyer got, didn't you?
Yeah,
Dyer
yeah,
Prospect.
yeah.
Yeah. And he was just 3 foot down from you guys.
Yeah, he put us in a bad spot, so we would steal all that gold.
Yeah.
Hey, the water was up. Now, give me a break. All right. Everybody have a good night.
You too.
And Bubbers and Mama says hi to everybody. So
All right,
Hi, Hook and
Hello.
hi, Bubba's.
see you guys later. Have a good show. Later.
Thanks.
Later.
Bye.
We have a fellow YouTuber on the line, guys. He goes by Prospector Josh. He also runs Rich Ass Dirt Adventures out of the Motherlode of California. How you doing, Josh?
I am sore. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
hear
we
you.
can hear you.
Oh, now we see you.
I am very sore. We just got back from a red adventure last night, and that's what I just unpacked.
Wow. Fun stuff.
So first off, I want to say, hey, what's up, Tim? Man, I'm a big fan, and
Thanks.
congrats on all your success, man. That's awesome for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers,
Hey.
cheers, cheers.
Yeah, thanks.
You
You know, for me, it's all about just the passion. I mean, I'm letting, now that I have a team too, they kind of help with that, I guess you can say. And we just kind of go wherever it takes us. It's kind of like a sailboat. You put up the sail and just see where you go, you know? So.
Right.
Sounds kind of like us, huh, Jesse?
Yep.
Wherever the wind takes us.
Yep.
Yeah, very cool.
I like what you were doing with your comb and your beard there. That was pretty cool.
Oh shit! I forgot it was in there. I was gonna open up with that, and I forgot.
Yeah, you got me smiling a little bit. I saw you when we were talking on the other phone. I could see you, and I'm like, yeah, he's doing stuff with his beard. And it was good.
Oh, you guys! I didn't even know you guys could see me. I thought Ed and Jesse and I didn't know you could see me. Holy shit! So, anyways,
The world saw you, Josh.
I have a prospector celebrity list, and it goes Sluice Goose. Can you guys see that? Let's see here. I don't want to switch screens
Right
because I
there.
might lose you guys. Sluice Goose, Mad Jack, Jeff Williams, Adam Pioneer, Paulie Vogus, and I got really cussed out last time because I didn't put Ed, Jesse, and Dano on it. So.
You take
And
one,
now-
you take us all, brother.
And now I got Big Tim Draper
Well, thank you.
on the list. That's awesome.
Don't
man.
forget
That's awesome.
Todd Anderson.
Yeah, don't forget Todd. You know what? Without my team, I wouldn't be where I'm at. My team helped so many different ways. I probably should give them more credit than what I have been giving them.
Well, Todd, I'm flipping I'm flipping the page and I'm putting your name on it.
All right, I got my own page.
Top of the list. Page 2.
So that
I
was a lot of equipment. What were you doing? Where did you just get back from, and what were you doing?
Well, what I do is I take a group of people out to the mother lode, and I teach them. It's a 3-day, 2-night excursion into the California mother lode, and it's they learn survival. They learn gold panning, how to extract gold, and everyone on this last trip was super successful, and the most successful person, a lot of you people know him, Chris Wands. He got a nice little nugget. Oh, it's so shiny and pretty. I wanted to steal it.
That sounds like you're doing. So people are coming to you, and you're giving them these tours. Is that what it is?
Oh, he's not giving nothing. He's charging them.
Well, here's the thing. I don't charge them a whole lot. I charge them basically what I think they can get back in gold. So when they leave, they usually go back with just as much money as they started with. So
that's cool. That's what we were talking about earlier. I mean, you're helping along with what we were talking about, find your adventure and teaching people and stuff like that. I think that's awesome. I really do.
Yeah, it's really awesome, except for this part. This part's not fucking awesome at all.
Yeah, I know about that whole equipment thing. When we come back from the team, it seems like we spend months and months researching. Then we spend the last week, getting all of our equipment set up. And then when we get back, my garage usually looks like that for days afterwards because I'm like, I don't want to pack it up. I don't want to put it away,
Well, Tim, I have 2 hours before the old lady comes with her car, and this is her fucking parking spot. So I have little time to do this. Are you guys still there?
Yeah, we're still there. You might need to upload more nutrients.
Okay, here we go. Upload.
Sorry, Goose.
Oh, hey, check this out. We still have Yuba water straight from the river.
Nice.
It's
Clean water.
It's very mineralized.
Huh.
That's a live straw in there, though, isn't it? Though.
Yeah. That's Sawyer. Yeah.
You might have to follow that stuff up and sell it. There's another marketing campaign right there.
Yeah. I don't know. That's pretty cool. I'll market this stuff right here. Mountain House. All this is very good food.
Oh, yeah.
Get this, Tim, and everyone. I had my first vegan on a tour.
A vegan?
A vegan. Yeah. Okay, before we went and started our hike in, and my safety coordinator, Kyle. Well, he's not just a safety coordinator. He's my partner. We're 50-50 in this, and he goes, "Yeah, I have a vegan going." I'm like, "Oh shit." All right, let's do this. So we went and we purchased some. Mountain House actually has vegan food.
Really?
Unbelievable.
Oh.
So we got her all situated. But when we first started, she's like, "I'm just gonna fast and hang out in the sun." I'm like, first off, if you don't eat, you ain't going. And you're going to stay the fuck out of the sun because it's going to be 103 degrees fucking when we're out there. And it was 100 degrees easy out there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was hot.
That Mountain House stuff quite a bit with what you're doing?
It said what? I'm sorry.
That Mountain House food that you were just showing, are you buying that quite a bit for what you're doing?
Oh, yeah. I serve breakfast and dinner, and for that's 3 days, 2 nights.
And where are you buying that from, if you don't mind me asking? Are you just buying from another store?
We try to buy it from local places around here, like surplus stores. But sometimes we do purchase it on Amazon, which I try to stay away from.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to start selling the same brand. We have just about everything you can think of. After this show, why don't you go ahead and, however you want to do it, Facebook or whatever, look me up. Send me your information. I'm going to send you a coupon to our store. As of August 10th, I'll give you 15% off on all that stuff from now on. It'll give you a good deal. Maybe it'll help you out with what you're doing, going out and taking people out. I think that's awesome. You send that to me, I'll make sure that coupon works.
That's amazing, Tim. That is amazing. And that would make me be able to cut my costs down on my participants. That's amazing.
Yeah. Send me that and remind me, 15% off, and I will keep that coupon open. I don't care how much you buy. We'll just keep that going, because what you're doing, I think, is pretty cool. You're doing a lot like what we're trying to do, motivate people and trying to help people out, bring adventure to them. So that's awesome, man.
Right on. Cheers, brother. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we have shut down Rad Adventures for the year. I know we just began the year, but my safety coordinator and I were both having kids at the same time. Well, he's having one this month.
Oh yeah.
I'm having one in a few months. So we're shutting it down to next year, but we're going big next year. Zip lines and all kinds of shit. So
yeah, that sounds like fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Stay in contact with us.
Absolutely, man. No doubt.
Congratulations on the new baby. You didn't look pregnant to me when I saw you.
You might
you hide it well.
I do. Oh, the hiking.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
No doubt.
All right, you guys. Well, this is the Tim Show, not the Rad Adventure Show, so I'll let you guys go. Wait, hold on. I gotta get a beer.
Nutrients.
Cheers, everybody. I don't know the next time I'll see y'all. I'll be releasing some videos for this next the last one I was just on, and that will be the last you'll see me for a while. Because I'm gonna be a daddy. I'm gonna be a daddy.
So check us out here.
Hey, guess what? Guess what my middle name of my kid's gonna be? We found out it's gonna be a boy.
Edwin.
It's gonna be Conrad.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure we'll see you in here during the shows from now to when the kid pops out.
Oh, for sure. I'll always be calling in. I love you guys.
Excellent. Thanks for calling in, Josh.
Nice seeing you. Nice meeting you. Thanks.
And always,
you too, man.
Always stay rad, Tim. Bro.
You too, brother. Later.
Later. We have another caller on the line. Blah, 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 blah. Hello, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hey, Josh, turn off your phone.
Hi.
Hello?
How's it going?
Good.
This is Josh. I'm calling from Philadelphia.
Hey, Josh, how you doing?
It's pretty good. I mean, everything was going good, and I sat on a hot curling iron right now.
Ow.
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 What are you?
That doesn't sound good.
Not on purpose, right?
No, actually,
okay,
no, I
good.
didn't. But I'm glad I did though.
Okay. I
Because
don't know
I got
why
these,
you would
like,
be glad you did, but okay.
well, my butthole hairs, they can't be trimmed. Just melted it right out.
Okay. Do you have a question for our guest?
No, I don't have a question, but I lost my wallet the other day, and I was thinking maybe what can I do to get it back?
Oh, I don't know, but Thanks for calling.
Yep.
All right.
All right. And look at the last place you knew you had your wallet.
Yeah.
Call the Ghostbusters.
I think a nigger stole it.
Uh-oh. Okay. Thank you, Josh, for calling. May you always have
Goodbye.
a flash in your pan. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Okay. People, bear with me.
It definitely is live.
There's some numbers I didn't want to call back.
I have no idea. That was definitely different, David. Yeah.
You're not used to that kind of stuff.
That's
He
a
brings out
that's a
the.
first.
Hey,
That's
don't,
a first.
don't put that on me, Todd. That wasn't me.
Now, Jaron, why couldn't you mute that guy? No, just kidding, Jaron. Jaron's our world famous moderator, Mr. Lodak in the chat room. But no. So Josh from Philadelphia had some strange questions, and so I guess he's a sadomasochist. He likes curling irons on the bum. So, I gotta laugh about that for a second. Oh my goodness. Okay, phone lines are open again.
Are you sure we want to do that?
Well, no, they're not open now. Let me take another quick break, and we'll be right back. This one you'll still see us, but here's a break from another one of our sponsors.
Hey, this is Michael from iPadForGold.com. I love to receive emails and photos of gold my friends recovered from our pager, and they're not too shy to tell me about it either. Just check out some of the reviews, photos, and even videos that they have posted on our Facebook page. In fact, here are some of my not-so-shy friends now.
I'm Aaron, and I pan for gold.
I'm Caleb, and I pan for gold.
I'm Ed Martin, and I pan for gold.
I'm Erica, and I pan for gold.
I'm James, and I pan for gold.
I'm Jared, and I pan for gold.
I am John, and I pan for gold.
I'm Mark, and I pan for gold.
I'm Tony, and I pan for gold.
This is Rob from Nashville, and I pan for gold.
Be sure and check our Facebook page and website for the latest offers, blog articles, and videos. What's in your pan? I hope it's Pater from iPanForGold.com.
All right, everybody, that's our friend Michael from iPanForGold.com. If you want some rad pay dirt, either check out Prospectors Josh's site or head over to iPanForGold.com. If you're new to the show, we have a couple of fellows with us from Treasures in America, featured on the Travel Channel, Todd Anderson and Timothy Draper. Thank you again for joining us tonight, guys. And it is live entertainment, and we get all kinds of calls.
Actually, that was the first. It's not the first call we've gotten like that. I think we got one like that in the very beginning once.
Yeah, no, one thing we're blessed with is moderators that are on the ball with trolls in the room, and we've been really fortunate on calls. Maybe twice, maybe 3 times. You know, we've been on the air now for, as of June 20th, a year now, so we've been doing our show for over a year now, so I think it's gone really well. at least with our audience and people calling in and not having a bunch of trolls and stuff. So, but the phone lines are open again, and we'll see what kind of calls we got coming in.
You know, like I told you before, Timothy, we're not experts, but we sure do have fun.
Hey, that's the whole part of it. You know, we say the same thing when we go out all the time. Don't you think, Todd? I mean, like I like to think that we're serious, right? And this has kind of been, everybody always kind of see the serious side of us, but we definitely have our quirky, funny, you know, moments for sure. I mean, we're like, you know, if you really want to see us the way we are, hang out with us after a day of treasure hunting when we're back at camp and we're sitting around the campfire. That's when it really gets crazy.
I bet.
Yeah, we've had all kinds of things happen. Some of it I really don't want to tell. You know, there's a part of me that I got a couple funny stories, but I mean, there's some of them maybe I shouldn't tell, Todd. What do you think?
We love funny stories. I mean, if you're not too afraid to embarrass yourself, we don't mind laughing.
You got one, Todd? I can think of a couple, but I don't want to tell them.
Hey, I got an idea. Todd, why don't you give us an embarrassing story about Timothy?
Oh, great. Here we go. I don't know why, but every time someone does something with me, like an interview or whatever, something like this from my team members always come up. So go ahead, Todd. Go ahead.
Well, you wouldn't do it. I mean, that's why, because you won't do it yourself.
We were down on the Arizona Strip. I'll tell them about the cell phone.
Oh, no, not this one. Okay.
We were down on the Arizona Strip.
Cell phone.
We were driving around, taking pictures, looking for things, and
we were driving around in racers, the UTVs. We had two, so half the team was in one UTV, the half the team was in the other one.
And Tim left his cell phone on the fender, or was it on
actually,
your lap?
I was wearing those cargo shorts, my outdoor shorts, and I didn't button up the pocket, the one that's by the knee, you know, that lower one. It's like a big poofy one. And so when we were driving, from what I can think of, it just bouncing on that UTV, going the speeds we were, it just came right out.
Oh, the guys behind us saw it drop out, and so they stopped and picked it up. We got to the next spot, and they didn't say anything. They had some plans. Somewhere along the line.
And you got to understand too. Sorry, Todd, but this whole time, I feel like I'm taking one for the team. You know, that was an expensive phone. That was an LG Flex 2 at the time. They were very expensive phones, and we're way out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, we were 50 miles back on dirt road, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, if someone found that phone, they can find all my pictures and all my information on treasure hunting. Who knows if they'll call China on it? You know, so I'm like, oh, well, we're treasure hunting. Who cares? You know, I'll turn it off when I get back to civilization. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
Todd.
you could tell he was stressing, but he was being a trooper about it, and you know, yeah, it's okay. And the guys in the other razor were just busted up. They trying really hard not to let it show, but they were laughing. And end of the day comes, and the guys walk up and say, Tim, we found this. And they hand him his phone. Somewhere during the day, they had stopped and taken, now this were, 5-6 guys.
Yeah.
They had stopped and taken some and they had made these photos his lock screen and then changed his password. So he, you know, oh, thank you, I got my phone. Gets the phone, hits the button, and there's somebody's junk. He's, damn it, and starts laughing, but he's trying to get it off, and they changed his password, so he couldn't get it off. And they're like, well, we're going to call your wife and give her the password. and he's over there just sweating bullets.
I'm sitting here shaking my head thinking that's not the first time I've seen one of the guys is, that area. And I don't know how it comes up, but it's like, that stuff needs to stop, right? It's like,
yeah, there's always one in the group, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. I know who it is, too. It's always the same. Yeah.
I don't know. There's one guy that does it, but then there's a couple others that instigate it.
Yeah.
So, what you got a lot of people got your back there.
Yeah. And I don't know what it is. Something about being the team leader. Maybe it's the same thing as at the end of a football game. The coach gets the water jug dumped on him or something like that. But for some reason, it seems like things are going good, and I'll get ganged up on the whole team. I'm like, come on, guys.
We got to take him down a little bit, keep him focused, keep him
right. Keep him down on the ground.
Yeah.
You may be the leader, but you're still down here with us.
All right, we have a caller on the line. Hello, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from? I'll be nice this time.
I'm not a troll, and I did it all.
So you're not sitting on a hot curling iron, and how you doing, Wayne?
No, I don't get off on curling irons. It just doesn't work for me. This is Nugget Brandon in Colorado.
How you doing, Wayne?
I'm doing so super fantastic like you wouldn't believe. We had an awesome hunt this last weekend.
Yeah, that was last weekend, wasn't it?
We had 3 YouTube stars show up and doing filming. Gypsy was there. 2 guys out of Denver. I don't have their name on me. And another guy out of Utah. He's a big treasure hunter. He was there. Had an awesome time. But the reason why I'm calling in is you mentioned all these other states, but there's nothing in Colorado for you to come look for?
Actually,
there's a ton in Colorado.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff, and I've actually considered it. We probably should make a trip over there. We try to focus on what we've been doing, but at the same time, bringing a new adventure, a new place, actually does sound like a good idea. Don't you think, Todd?
Maybe
we should hit that state. Yeah.
Well, you need to get in contact with me because you probably know a guy named Jim Fierro. He's a master treasure hunter for many, many years. And he looks for a lot of treasures.
And
we're working on.
Does he live in Utah or?
No, he lives up in Brighton, Colorado.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Go
ahead. I'm sorry.
His name is Jim Fierro.
That does sound familiar now that you say that. Why does that sound familiar? I'm going to write that down. I always like meeting new people, and for some reason that name does sound really familiar.
Well, he's been looking
have a friend request waiting for you there from him.
Yeah.
He's up in Brighton, Colorado. He's on Facebook, and he is one of the founding president of Watts. So if you go on our Watts website and go to members or whatever they call it, you can find his name and number on there, and he could steer you. He's doing a lot of work up in Park, up in Utah. It's up in the northeast corner.
Over on the northeast of the Uinta Mountains, or close to. Yeah.
Right. He's working on that one. He's also working on one down in the Caballos. And then him and I are also working on the Fen treasure. Have you guys been looking for the Fen treasure?
God has been.
Yeah, we've kicked it around a bit.
Yeah, we did kick around the possibility.
I could tell you 8 places it is not in.
That sounds about right. I've always called that process of elimination.
Yep.
If you want to be a good treasure hunter, you have to do process of elimination. You have to fail many times until you find it.
Well, I think that we only got 9,922 more places to check.
Hey, you're getting there.
Yeah. Well, you can scratch them off the list. Just keep going. Every time you can scratch another one off the list.
Right. Well, I'm not going to go to Yellowstone because that's where everybody's looking, and I'll guarantee it's not in Yellowstone.
Are you thinking that it could be in New Mexico, or have you cast that one out?
I don't believe it's in New Mexico. They say it's north of Santa Fe, but north is a big compass reading. If you look at it on a compass, I believe it is in Colorado.
Sounds about right.
I've got a couple of spots in Colorado I would like to look at.
Right. There's about 10 more places that we definitely want to thoroughly search over, but it's just we just had the outing this weekend, and this weekend in Durango, Colorado. If you get a chance, or anybody else want to run down to Durango, there is the 65th, I think it's the 65th Gem and Mineral Show, and Watts has a booth there. We've been there since 2004, and we talk about treasure hunting and gold prospecting. We do gold panning demonstrations for kids. We'll probably have between Friday and Sunday close to 2,000 to 3,000 kids will teach how to pan for gold. We've been doing this for a long time.
Oh, that was really cool. I like that kind of stuff. I really do. I like it when people, give back to the community. You're taking something that you're getting the kids involved. I think that's awesome.
Right. And that's what we've been doing. And I've been there since 2004. I will be in Moab, Utah. I have an invitation to go over there for their Gem and Mineral Show in October. I was there last year, and they were just blown away what we did. Yeah. So they wanted me to come back to that one. And then we hit other Gem and Mineral shows. We just go up for the day, my kids and I, and we spend the day at different Gem and Mineral shows in, around like 200-mile, 250-mile radius of Durango. We try to hit as many as we can, and we go up and talk to the people and, discuss things about panning for gold and treasure hunting and everything else. I do seminars when they ask me to, so it's kind of like what you guys do, except a different scale. I'm not on TV anymore, but I do a lot of YouTube stuff with other people.
We've been crunching at that too. It's YouTube. People shouldn't underestimate YouTube. YouTube is a great way. It really is, and I've seen it. I've seen other people go really far with that. So I think that's cool. That's really good.
It's like treasure hunting. You're going to get out of it what you put into it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I seem to put an awful lot into it, and I get very little return, but that's okay because I make other people happy, and I'm introducing them to something that they never thought would be possible.
And you know what? It just made me think in today's age with the kids, I think what you're doing, taking them away from the computer, the game systems, the internet, you're teaching them something. There's not everybody knows how to do that kind of stuff anymore. I think it's great. I really do. I think that's really cool.
And that's the goal in my life. I have a 16-year-old daughter and a 20-year-old son, and I say, let's go treasure hunting this weekend for the Fen treasure. Like tomorrow, I'm going to work until 12 noon. I'm working on a custom home for a customer. I told him I'm going to leave at noon. He said, that's fine. Well, it saves him a lot of money because he doesn't have to pay me. But right when we get out of work, my son and I are jumping in the truck, and we're hitting the river here in Durango, and we're going to metal detect about 2-3 miles of it. Because last weekend they had a huge kayak festival here, competitions with kayaks and rafters and everything. So they lost a bunch of stuff, and we're going to go get all that bunch of stuff and keep it.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
And band race sunglasses and Rolexes.
Well, I'm still in the search of a $30,000 plus aviator watch that a man lost. We have not found it yet, but we have a pretty good idea. But since the water situation here in Colorado, because we got this big fire burning right just outside of Durango here, the water situation is way down, so it might be knee deep at the most.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Time to hit the river.
Last year, my son went diving under a bridge that people jump off of. There's several bridges here in Durango people jump off of, and he found a 24-inch, 18-karat men's rope chain. Wholesale on it's $1,000.
Wow. Wow.
Then he found a Gold Pro, and I think we got 6 or 7 pairs of Ray-Ban glasses last year, valued $250 plus the Oakleys and all that. We got a big jar of stuff here that we collect and we throw in. We have one jar we throw the crap in, another jar that we keep the good stuff, and another jar we throw the coins in. So the Gold Pro we found last year was in a waterproof case, and it was one of those $399 or $499 Gold Pros. It had footage on there. It did nothing we could recognize faces or anything else. So they must have had it attached to the front of a kayak, hit the rapids real hard and knocked it off, and they couldn't find it. My son found a Timex watch last year, and it's true to the story from the 60s and 70s.
Takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
Exactly. And it's still ticking today.
Actually, I found a Timex watch growing up in Southern California when I was surfing on the beach. It was just the watch part. The crystal was broken, the hands were corroded, and it was still ticking.
You can't beat that.
I would have sent it to Timex and said something's wrong with my watch. I can't read it anymore. So, anyways, if you guys could get a hold of Ed after the show, he'll give you my number. Contact me and let's do something. I'll get a hold of Jim and maybe we could meet up and do some treasure hunting together, or throw around some ideas. I'm going to be traveling over to Utah. I got a couple places I want to check for some Spanish treasure you might already know about, but we could discuss all that off the air. So.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. We'll get a hold of you. And I have a question for you. You mentioned that there was a known treasure hunter from Utah that was with you. Who was that?
Hang on one second. Austin. Utah. Terry Carter.
Oh
yeah, we know Terry.
Yeah.
He'll be our guest next week.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Terry's really cool. He's been around. What's interesting for me is like Terry Carter, and there's quite a few other names I can mention. These guys have been around before I was. I remember growing up as a teenager looking at their websites and stuff like that. So yeah, Terry Carter is a good guy. He's very experienced. He's been doing this for a long time. He knows a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, he came to our outing. He just came to observe, and he ended up buying into the hunt, and he did pretty good too. So.
Wow.
Cool.
Hey, Nugget Brain, that Denver, Colorado guy, was that Clash Guitars from YouTube?
No.
Okay.
No. Jim's he's done a lot of treasure videos, a lot on the caballos and, the Jolly whatever down there in New Mexico, and he does videos for us for Watts, and we're going to be doing some videos. He did a video. I think he already took it down. We were looking for the Fen treasure. He had a place that we went, but it wasn't there, and he had it, and then a lot of people started bugging him and everything, asking him questions, so I think he pulled that video down.
Hey,
But-
Wayne, we have a message in the chat room from Terry Carter himself. It was a great hunt, Wayne. Thanks for putting it on. Great info, Tim and Todd. Thanks for inviting them, Ed. You're more than welcome, Terry.
Thanks, Terry.
Yeah, thanks, Terry. If you type in there, thanks, Terry, and I'll be getting a hold of him within the next week. So
Pretty sure
he's an awesome guy. We sat at the camp several nights, and we talked about different treasures and everything else. He was just a wealth of information, and he had some. The reason why he came down this way is he was looking for a few over in the Durango area and Cortez and this whole area. So he came down, and then he was just blown away, I guess. And then he ended up joining in our hunt, and he was in quite a few hunts, and he had a great time. He's a great guy, and I mean, the stories this guy has, I mean, they're not stories, they're actual facts.
Well, he's been around for a long time.
I've actually been binge watching his YouTube channel the last couple of days. So, yeah, he's got some great stuff.
What was his website back in the day, Todd? Wasn't it Treasure's Hideout or?
Yeah, Treasure Hunter's Hideout.
Something like that. He was one of them. That website and many other ones were the ones that inspired me. You know that I don't know if I said anything, but I'm 39 years old, so I'm a little bit younger than some of these other treasure hunters that have been around. But I remember, 15, 18, 25 years old, looking at those websites like Terry Carter's website and some of the other ones, and they're the guys that motivated me as me being the younger guy to go out and do what I do today. So, yeah.
Right. Well, I started when I was 9 years old. I've told this story many times, but I started out when I was 9 years old, and I'm happy to say I just turned 60 this year, and I feel like I'm 25 again because of my two kids.
Nice.
The adventures that I have in treasure hunting and everything else, it's in my blood.
Yeah. It gets like that, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, that's really cool.
Yep.
And we'll get your information and we'll talk more. I think that sounds like a great idea. I don't have a lot of connections in Colorado, so I think this would be fun. I'd like to see where this goes.
Well, I know, Ed, is it okay if I say the website?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's www.ats.org. Stands for Worldwide Association of Treasure Seekers. We are the world's largest treasure hunting club, and we do have over 240,000 members in our organization all around the world.
Wow, that is really impressive. That is really cool. I am definitely going to look this up, and I'm definitely going to get in contact with you guys. That's great.
That's awesome. I'm over here in Durango, and I'm on Facebook. You just look up Wayne Peterson or Wayne Nugget Brain Peterson or any one of those, and you can find me, and we can communicate and call and everything else. So
that sounds great. I'm glad you got on. Thanks for sharing all that. Nice meeting you.
And like always, anybody come to the Durango area, contact me, and I'll take you out for a day adventure and have a good time.
There you go. Now everybody knows what they're going to do next, right?
Oh yeah. Don't you just love doing this live, because you get to talk to people like this that you've never met before but are interested in what you're doing, and know some of the same people you know. This is really cool. Now I can't wait to talk to Terry next week.
He'll have some good stories for you.
Yeah, that's cool.
You got a couple of good shows right there, just from, and that's, what, Todd, that's kind of makes me proud too. The Utah Treasure Hunters, having Terry Carter on the same show, and here we are. That's cool. That's good.
Yep.
Hey, not as proud as we are. I mean, seriously. I mean, you think about it. You're just a couple, 3 guys from Ohio, doing this, going out and finding our little bit of gold here and there, and being all interested in adventures and stuff and treasures like we are. And it's cool to be able to meet people like you and Wayne and next week Terry and some of the other metal detectorists and TV personalities that we would never really, without this platform here, would ever really meet. Maybe talk online a little bit, like what me and you did a little bit, but on here, now you get to actually talk to the person.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. I have to say, it's really cool. I like what you guys are doing here. I think the more and more you go, you're just going to keep connecting the dots. One thing that what you guys got going on for you, and the same thing I think what we have is that we all share a common interest. And that common interest becomes a part of your life. It's your hobby. It's something that, even as all of us can go to work throughout the day, it's something that we're thinking about. Oh, next weekend, hey, I'm going to go do this. And, or maybe something even next month, but it's what keeps us going. It's our drive. It's our passion.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, like you said earlier, too, you're driving down the road, and like with me, every creek I drive by, I look, oh, there's a gravel bar, there's a bend, there's this, I don't know, get in there. And that's what's fun.
Yeah.
We got, okay. I'll just read some of the stuff.
If I could say one more thing and I'll get off the line. Ed, I will be getting a hold of you this week. I talked with Gypsy this last weekend. She would be very interested in coming on the show. Anybody who doesn't know her,
oh, cool.
She's on YouTube under Zero Discriminate. And she did a lot of filming up at the hunt, and she's going to be releasing a video. And you get to see who Nugget Brain is. And I think everybody's going to have a good time with it. And David Buckle down there in Australia, I hope you enjoy what she's got to show. I made sure it was for you.
So keep an eye out for Zero Discrimination's videos for the outing, David. She has some good metal detecting videos too.
I've seen some of her videos. They're pretty good.
Yeah. But when you see the real Nugget Brain, you'll know why I'm saying this. So anyway, God bless everybody. Have a great evening. Thanks for coming on the show. And I've been sitting here listening. And I had 2 other shows I was going to listen to tonight. But guess what? You guys interested me more than the other 2 shows, and I could always go hear the repeats on those.
Thanks, Wayne.
Thanks,
Wayne.
Wayne.
Get out there and go prospecting with you.
Definitely.
I'm waiting.
Have a great night and a happy 4th of July, Wayne. Thank you.
Yep, and everybody else. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
The man.
Go ahead.
The man, the myth, the legend, the guy who started the global Nugget Brain Challenge.
Oh my! So it's going on 10:30, Ed.
Yeah.
10:30. Wow. A little bit of time difference for us, huh, Todd?
Yeah, it's still past my bedtime.
That it is. Good thing tomorrow everybody's off because my producer hasn't pounded on my ceiling yet. So but let me see. Anything else? This could go on for a while. We haven't got our hypothetical question call yet.
I know.
He didn't call.
Todd, you're gonna have to answer.
Here. He's here.
Yeah, he's here. He's here. He knows how to do it. I wonder if we could coax him into it. David Buckle. David Buckle.
I triple dog dare you.
Listen to the voice in your head. Call the show now.
Tim, don't listen to the voices in your head. It's not good.
David's a great guy. Puts out some great content here on YouTube. he changed his name again on YouTube. David Buckle Gold. He gets some mighty fine Tasmanian gold too.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Pretty stuff.
Oh yeah, I know I like what he's. Me too. And it's up on my shelf.
He said he can't call in tonight.
Not today. All right. Thanks anyway, David. So no hypotheticals from our mate from down under.
That's on my bucket list, is hitting Australia, Tasmania.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, he showed some pretty porn. Some nice gold porn.
Oh yeah. We have a caller on the line all the way from the Driveway Gold Mine in Texas. How you doing tonight, John?
Oh, doing great. You keep saying Driveway Gold Mine, I'll become treasure hunting in Texas. I just wanted to say it. Yes, it's wonderful information, and I'm glad there are folks out there doing it. And their little store sounds great. Going to open up just in time for my birthday.
Nice. When's your birthday?
The 28th of August.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Well, mine's the 6th. So I was going to mention earlier, you should move that up to the 6th on my birthday.
Maybe that gives me an idea. Maybe I should do the website being created where people can go on and register and log in and stuff like that. Maybe I should have the IT guy set up a birthday date and then have automatic emails go through and send everybody, hey, it's your birthday coming up. Here's a discount coupon or whatever. That actually.
There you go.
Yeah.
Write that down.
I am.
Write that down before you forget about it.
That actually is a good idea.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I know they're busy with a whole lot of stuff, and you talk about tracing the Spanish in different ways and everything, and they like you said, they came all over here from everywhere, landed from Florida, and then just worked their way across the Gulf of Mexico onto all the different states. A lot of folks don't realize that they actually, they think of Louisiana with a French influence, but there was also a Spanish influence there.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say nothing about Texas. They were definitely a Spanish influence here.
You think?
Yeah, that's go ahead, Todd.
One of their biggest kind of ports here for the early Spanish was around Galveston. A lot of the gold and silver that came out of Utah, instead of making the hard trek down in, over the Grand Canyon or down through the desert, they'd cut off to the east and go down to Galveston. So, a lot of our gold and silver went down through Texas.
I like how you said that, Todd. A lot of our gold. So if you find any of our gold in Texas, look for that phone number that says call Tim and Todd.
We'll take care of it for you.
That's up, Timothy. The Canadians complain about us getting their gold.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, we find glacial gold and it all came from Canada.
Yeah. Actually, I guess it's always someone else's gold, right? I mean, it comes from somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yours when you find it.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
it's yours when you find it.
Finders, keepers, losers, weepers, Ontario.
What do they say? Possession is 9/10 of the law. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. That's not a real law, but that's what they say.
See how far that gets you.
Right.
Well, like I say, I just wanted to say hi to everybody, and that just keep up the good work, and we enjoy. I for one enjoy all the information I can get.
Yeah. We're glad to have you as a friend, John. How's your wife doing, by the way? I heard she was back in the hospital.
Yeah, she's back in the hospital with, I guess, pneumonia again, having some breathing problems. They getting her squared away. They got a good hospital over there in Waco, so they're getting her taken care of. Hopefully she'll be back on the road to recovery and home. We always pray home soon, but I want her home well, so she's in the best place right now.
Yeah.
Well, good luck and speedy recovery for your wife.
Yeah. Godspeed.
Yeah, definitely sending prayers.
Definitely.
All right, thank y'all.
Oh, and John, I'll have your
Yeah.
package in the mail, hopefully before the weekend. So you keep an eye out in your post box. John was the last month's Patreon appreciation drawing winner. So you have another package coming, John.
All right. Always something great.
Ed, did you know you won also?
Yeah, I won.
Won
from
again.
Behnke State.
Hey.
What'd you win, though?
Yeah.
A bag of Juno beach sand dirt.
Some more of that powder.
Oh yeah, maybe Judy could paint her eye, do her eye makeup with it or something. It's really fine. I mean, like talcum powder fine.
Hey, but it adds up, and that's the prettiest gold there is anyhow.
Oh yeah, it's sure pretty. Dennis, though, I don't know if I lucked out. Hopefully he was going to send me some anyway, but hopefully what I won is a little better than what he was going to send anyway.
Oh.
But nonetheless, I'm looking forward to it. It's some fun material to run.
Oh, yeah.
You've ran Ray stuff before, haven't you, John?
No, I haven't run any Ray stuff before. I've been meaning to get a hold of him, and just everything going, I hadn't had time, but I'll get to it eventually, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. I'm sure you could talk Ray into going down the beach, shoveling some into a flat rate box and ship out to you.
Oh, yeah. Well, y'all have a great evening, and like I say, great show. Just keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, John.
Yep,
See you,
thanks for
John. Nice
calling,
meeting
John.
you.
Hey, buddy.
Take it easy, John.
All right, bye.
John Shaw, great guy from Texas. Met him at this year's FOSIC along with some other great people. He got his first taste of a gold dredge here a couple months ago, and he was in the river a lot behind the nozzle. So I think we got another one hooked on dredging, or we didn't. I believe the Wandering Buffaloes did that.
Right. Well,
Rich, I think he's running Rich's dredge.
Yeah, he ran Rich's dredge.
Oh, okay. So Rich Cooley got him hooked.
So Timothy, did you ever? Has Todd ever taken you out gold prospecting?
Todd, he has actually. When we went down to Superstitions, what was that? About 3 years ago. Oh, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. We were down there. We had some information. It wasn't really about the Dutchman. A lot of people have heard about the Lost Dutchman mine. Of course, that's what kind of, brought the story. Here, I'll say this. I grew up in that area. I was born and raised in Mesa, Arizona. I heard about all the legends, all the stories, and you could read books about it. Even when you live out of state, you hear about it. But living right there and growing up in that area, I learned a lot. I heard a lot of old timers talk about stories and stuff like that. So, anyways, one of the things I wanted to do was take my team once we formed down there. And anyway, so we had all these different things, different objectives, I guess you can say, that we were looking for. And during that time, we had some downtime. And what was really nice is some of the guys on the team have never pan or never prospected before. And there, you know, when we were taking a break from our hiking and stuff like that, there was Todd down the stream. He had a couple gold pans with him, and you know, he started showing the guys. And I thought, you know, this is great. This is again kind of like what we're doing tonight with all of us taking phone calls and talking. We're teaching each other and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. We did during POSIC. We had some metal detectorists. Jocelyn was there to learn how to pan for gold.
Jocelyn Elizabeth and her boyfriend Drew came from Pennsylvania and joined us.
John drove 17 hours to get up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a couple of placer claims that we're trying to get the team to get out there and do some mining on it, and it's on the list.
Yeah, and it's in a good spot too, Todd. The more and more that I'm learning about that area, I'm fascinated with it. I think you picked a good spot. It just shows gold for the last couple hundred years, and everybody else has been there prospecting. And then the history of the Spanish and everything. I mean, I think now, because of our research that we've been doing the last few months, I think you got me hooked, and I want to go in that area for multiple reasons.
That's crazy. But hey, that's what happens, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, you start off. I mean, I've always been kind of a rock hound, arrowheads and stuff like that. And after I retired, I got into gold. And then from there, everything else, you know, metal detecting. I broke down and bought a metal detector, you know. And I'm ready to go do some bottle digging. I mean, you know.
Yeah. It does seem like it turns out to be that way, doesn't it? You get into one hobby and then you learn more. I know same thing happened to me. I'm sure it happened to everybody. You know, you just kind of, it evolves into other things too. You start to learn and really enjoy doing all of
it. That's so true. That's so true.
You know, our community is huge. If you look at all the different facets of our community, you know, from like Jesse said, relic hunting, bottle hunting, privy diggers, and bottle dump hunters, arrowhead hunters, other artifacts, metal detectorists, antiquers, prospectors. It goes on and on.
Yeah. It's a huge list. I've been telling everybody, you know, that's why these TV shows and things that come out on magazines, I think is really cool how, you know, when Treasures in America went on social media, it was surprising of how I call it the treasure hunting community, just like what you said, that involves all of those different types of treasure hunters. It's large. It really is.
It really is. It's more than you think. I mean, and then you, if you wanted to, you could add things like, you know, flea markets. You know, secondhand stores, auctions,
antiques, and ghost towns, and
the ghost towns. Don't get me started on that. That ghost town stuff's really cool too. It's just such a large community, and like what you guys are doing right now, you know, with this kind of show and other people that do things like this, just a great way to connect everybody, you know. And
I mean, look at the show tonight. You've got a couple good, decent connections that you know. That could pan out to be something.
It sure can. And it usually always does. It usually, whenever I contact people like that or people contact me, they turn into great conversations. It goes on for a while where we're sharing each other's passion and information. Before you know it, you know, we're talking on social media, and that's another name on the list. You know, okay, well, let's go out and see them or meet with them, or let's go out to that show with them and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, since I've been doing this, I've met people that I know I would not meet otherwise. Just because. I mean, you know, we don't run the same circles. But now, doing this, all of a sudden, this becomes another circle that gives you the opportunity to meet those people. I mean, people like you, inventors, people that invent different products and stuff that we've gotten to know and have, made a relationship with. So it's really cool to do this. I mean, who knows where this could go? It could go nowhere. It could go lots of places. But if you don't put yourself out there and do this, you never will. I mean, I'm sure by now, and I'm going to bring it up, Ed. I'm sure at this point you've had people come up to you and go, "Hey, I know who you are. I know where I've seen you before." And you go, "Oh, yeah, you do YouTubes or you were on this show." So I have this thing about, if you're going to put yourself out there, you have to be willing to accept the fact that people are going to come up to you and say they know who you are and want to meet you, and whether you're in the mood or not.
Yeah. And you know what? That's the hardest step. I was given the same advice a few years ago. A lot of friends and family, a lot of people have been telling me to write a book. There's been a lot of things before I started doing the news things and now working with producers and stuff like that. I remember the advice I was getting from several people, and it was almost like it was a message to me, because it came from a lot of people around the same time. Everybody kept saying the same thing. You got to put yourself out there. You got to do it. If you put yourself out there, you just got to go through the aches and pains at first. But by doing that, people will learn what you do, and you'll either inspire someone or you'll meet new people or whatever it is, get new connections. And it was so true. I got to say, it was really tough at first. At first, I didn't know if I was going to challenge people. Some people did try challenging me, but I had a certain thing about me. I wasn't at competition. I'm still not at competition with anybody. And that I'll say through and through, and I've been saying it from the beginning, I'll say it till the end. I'm not at competition with anybody. I'm not out to steal anything from anybody. And I think with that attitude and, my characteristic, I guess you can say, my personality is just, I'm really glad I did. And now, I got a large connection, a lot of people that I can talk to and stuff like that. And I think that right there, if I never find the mother lode, that right there, meeting new people, gaining connections and stuff like that, will be, that's just enough of a treasure for me.
Right. I got a question here on our chat. Our moderator, Mr. Lodak, wants to know, have you ever found any human remains?
Say that again. Sorry.
Have you ever found any human remains?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Todd. You can tell your story.
I have found several skeletons. One in the San Rafael desert area, San Rafael Swell. One down in southern Utah. And getting out there in these places, especially where we're looking for Spanish, with their history of Indian fights. A lot of these treasures involve a lot of death, a lot of battles. We found some.
Okay.
Nothing fresh, nothing new.
That wasn't my question. That was Mr.
Mr.
Question. That's actually interesting. It made me think. I'm sitting there going, I know Todd has found some, and I'm sitting there thinking, I know I have. I can't prove it, nor do I really want to. But yeah, during some things, I know there's been a couple times where I'm like, no, these are human remains. These look old, So.
So do you report that, or do you just leave it alone?
The one that I found, I was involved. It was one of the news things that I did. There already were state officials and historians from Utah State there. When it was discovered, I just kind of backed off and let them do their thing. So on that one, I didn't have to report anything. It probably would be the right thing to report. I don't know. That's a good question too.
Yeah, I didn't. They were old. It wasn't something new, and I just didn't want to get involved with officials.
I'm gonna respond to this question. T name wants to know: have you hidden any human remains? I'm gonna say they're not gonna say yes to that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Right.
No comment. I
can say that, in Utah has a magical history. And that's another thing that actually I should have brought up, or I meant to earlier. We're not just out looking for the stuff that you find in books, and we're not just looking for the things that you learned about in history, in elementary, middle school, and high school, even college when I went there. I had a hard time with history because I just felt like the history is monitored so much. We are basically finding new history. We're going off of, we're finding evidence that's creating a whole new story that we didn't learn about. And some of that does involve possible tombs, ancient tombs in Utah and the surrounding states of Utah. So, I mean, it's just, I know it's just a matter of time where we find something kind of like that story I was talking about where I uncovered that mine. That might happen again. That might be a tomb entrance, and it's happened here in Utah and it's happened in surrounding states. So, but like
when you get Terry Carter on, ask him about mummies. He's got some good stories.
I have a lot of questions for Terry, from giants to all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. That'll be a good one.
Yeah,
definitely.
He has some outstanding interviews on his channel.
Yeah, he has really impressive ones. I find myself, when I want to take a break from my research, I've been recently going over the YouTube to his channel, watching some of his videos. They're very interesting. I like how he's doing them. He's interviewing other people from different time frames, different stories, and it's really cool stuff.
Very cool.
Oh, yeah. They're talking about hiding dead bodies in the chat room now.
Didn't realize that was going to be a subject tonight.
Paul's wife's like, "Oh, I know."
It's I don't know, maybe surprising, but that subject comes up a lot when we're out, poking around looking at stuff, because this would be a good place to hide a body, or
find where they've been hiding Jimmy Hoffa,
Yeah, right. Like we said earlier, this conversation can go lots of different ways.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah. Hey, wherever you want to take it, or wherever our chat room wants to go.
I like that style, though. It's kind of like what we were talking about with the Travel Channel, what we do, the scripted, unscripted stuff. Is where you have like a general plan, but I call it winging it. My wife's always like, when I'm getting prepared to do something on the news or whatever it is, an interview, she's always like, well, have you thought about what you're going to say? I'm like, no. And she's like, why? And I go, I'm just going to wing it. And she goes, why? Why would you do that? I'm like, everything turns out better when you wing it. I know what I'm doing. I know my experience. I know my stories and, things like that. So it's like, I'll just wing it. I'll see where it goes. And it seems like those make the best shows.
Well, and here's the difference between our show and what, like your interviews. With your interviews and stuff, you're gonna probably be interviewed for a couple hours, and they might do a half hour, maybe.
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
Here, whatever you say is coming out. Yeah. Whatever you say, you're stuck with it.
Careful what I say.
Remember I told you guys we pretty much shoot from the hip, and our callers in the chat room dictates which way we go. So
Yep.
After all, it is, and we might be hosting, but it is your show. It's their show. Your valuable time you give us, their valuable time they give us. And we're honored by that. So, hey, We felt the way we do it is the best formula. You know, can't have it totally scripted.
Yeah. That wouldn't be funny even if it was.
So is that show on anything else besides
Travel Channel?
The Travel Channel.
If you go to our website, treasuresinamerica.com, on the homepage, just scroll down. You'll see our logo. The homepage is really simple. Scroll down to the bottom, and you will see it will have the video there. Now, it's not really supposed to be out. Travel Channel, they like to play them like once every year for the next couple of years, if that makes sense. But I was able to find a link to the one source that does have it on the web. Unfortunately, when you start watching it, it will have kind of like what you guys are doing tonight, I guess you can say, like commercials. It'll play for 5 minutes, and it'll hit a sponsored commercial, and then it'll start playing again. But you can watch the whole thing for free if you don't mind a couple commercials here and there. So, yeah, it's right there at treasuresinamerica.com. You know, and to answer your question, the networks like to hold on to those kind of TV shows, even though it didn't go anywhere. I know a lot of other guys that have been on TV that's done, one episodes like that, and they'll usually keep them sometimes up to 10 years, and they'll put them on during a certain time once a year, and then the next year they'll do it again. So I don't think the networks like giving those things out very often. They don't usually sell the copies or anything. It's just one of those things where, oh, hey, I saw those guys last year. I want to watch that. It's coming up on TV pretty soon. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember how I found that the show was coming on. I must watch too much TV.
You are retired.
Oh yeah, I am retired. So
it was kind of funny because we had been researching and doing some stuff on Butch Cassidy before they called, and when they started talking to us about it, we were telling them, oh yeah, well, do you know about this, and do you know about that, and Butch did this, and it was really kind of weird because we were working on some stuff in that area already when they called.
So did they know you were working on that, or was it just they heard about you and decided they wanted to see what you were about?
They couldn't have heard because that was the information we haven't made public yet. But when they contacted me, they actually contacted us. This is how we get a lot of our contacts. They just contacted us through the website, and I got an email saying, hey, I'm a producer. This is a real, inquiry. We're thinking about doing a TV show. We are looking for treasure hunters. We found you guys. Basically, they were looking for the right kind of personality, the right kind of story. We didn't even know that it was going to be Butch Cassidy until after we started, accepting the job. And that's when they said, well, where do you, they say, well, you live in Utah. What's one of the legends there? And we went through, either Spanish or outlaw. And that's when they came up with the Butch Cassidy thing, and it made sense. So that's the way a lot we could reach, I would say in the last couple of years since Treasure America started, we've probably been reached out to by probably 40 producers now.
Yeah.
And some of them have been very serious, and some of them, all of them are serious at first. But treasure hunting is very technical, very hard. It takes a producer with credibility. It takes a good producer, and it takes some creative thinking to do what we do and film it, edit it, and put it on TV. It's kind of a tricky one. So and I can say this, I have been, like I said, I've been in the circle of Travel Channel, History Channel, National Geographic, and I can go on. And I can tell you, for all you treasure hunters and people that like this kind of stuff, there is going to be more coming on TV. These major networks are looking for more treasure hunting shows. That's why Treasure America has been getting contacted so much. There are producers that are catching wind of it, and they want to be the guys that find that next TV show. So, yeah.
Wow, I feel pretty privileged then that you went ahead and decided to come on our show.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. We also one of our friends has a Gold Prospector Space.com, which is they do a radio show every week also.
Uh-huh. That sounds familiar.
Prospectors Radio.
Oh yeah.
And I forgot what I was going to say about them. Oh, because of them, we've been able to meet a lot of people in this community, and it's just been great. They've helped us quite a bit too. They're not our competition at all. They're our friends, and it's just really great that we can get together with people like you and other people that have been on TV. I'm just loving it.
We work with them kind of like a flock of geese, you know.
Right.
We shout them out, they shout. We promote them, they promote us.
That's a great.
We have a really good relationship with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tim Grimes, the owner and creator of GoldProspectorsSpace.com and Prospectors Radio. You should, if you have not yet, you should check out their site. Maybe I'll talk to them about asking you to be on their radio show.
Well, right now, to be honest with you, like I said, I've been pretty quiet. Even our own fans on Facebook, they probably noticed that Trade America has been pretty quiet. It's because we've been really, really, really busy. And I know that sounds like an excuse, but we like to go in and get the work done and stuff like that. But anyways, when it comes to shows, I've actually been asked in the past several times. Your being on this show is the first time I've done something like this in probably about a year because of the way my schedule has been. But I told myself when you guys got a hold of me, I go, you know what? I need to get back out in the public again. Even though I'm busy or all that, I can take time to do that because this kind of mingling with the people kind of stuff has always been very beneficial. So,
like you said, you got to put yourself out there.
Yeah. Yep. That's very true. Very, very true.
And I know we've been actually really, what's a good word for it? Well, the first word that came to mind was blessed at how well our invites have been received by people that you would think would go, nah. And then they come on and they're end up being great guests, great people, and some of them have led to us actually meeting face to face, and other doors have opened. So,
yeah, it's the way it works.
Yeah, and doing what we do, finding these new leads or new information, networking with people is a great way to do that. If you got a spot that you know about that is a ways away, but you can't get to it, somebody might, and hopefully they return the favor and things just balloon out from that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, gentlemen, we just hit the 3-hour mark. Jesse, do you know a good place online to find prospecting gear?
I used to. No, but do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
GoProspectingGear.com.
That's a Indiana place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Online?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was supposed to say that, but I lost my paper.
Well,
I had it written down here somewhere. That's why I said, yeah, no, do you? Like I said, Timothy, we are not professionals. That's just by any means whatsoever.
Oh, I like this show. It's laid back. It's what I like about it. It's real.
No,
it's real.
That it is.
Real people talking about real things, real passions.
Right.
It's real. Right. I like it. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And curling irons.
Curling irons.
And curling irons. Yes. As soon as he said that, I knew we were in trouble. I knew we were in trouble.
What gave it away? You know, I'm not sure what it was.
Butt hair's melting, maybe. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Well, gentlemen, I know your time's valuable, and I appreciate the over 3 hours you have given us. A lot of our friends out there don't know that you're with us for a half hour before we even go on air. So we appreciate you being with us, Timothy, Todd. I hope to see you in our audience sometime. You're welcome. Call in anytime. Give us an update.
You got, hey, when your store opens up,
call in during August when you open.
Let us know.
Hey, that sounds good. And I haven't forgotten. I'll get a hold of you guys. You guys can send me an address. I'll send you guys 3 hats, 2 grays, 1 white.
There you go.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for having us on the show. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been our pleasure, dude.
I've never really been able to do something. I've never done anything live like this to where, people are calling in. I liked it. It was a way to interact with people. It was really cool. So, yeah.
I think that's part of what people like about our show, too, is that it is interactive.
Yeah.
They can call in. We talk to them. We ask their questions. We actually talk to them.
Sometimes they become the guest.
Yeah, sometimes we've had guys like Wayne come on and become the guest. We've had guys like David Buckle come on, become the guest for the night just because they want to sit and talk. And hey, we're about that.
Yeah.
Even if we don't know what to ask next.
I don't know what we're gonna say next, but come on.
No. We're, like we told you before, we're gonna go wherever the show goes.
That's right. We shoot from the hip.
I'll definitely be on. I'll be listening next Tuesday. I want to see how everything goes with Terry. Whenever anything that Terry does, I like to listen in and stuff like that. So you'll see me next week.
Cool.
Excellent. I hope we get a call in for a question from you too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the fun part about this show is having our guests talk to our chat room, and I think that's where our show is.
Yeah. So. Keep doing what you guys are doing. You're doing it, and the more and more you're doing it, you're going to get. I was telling the guys the same thing. We started off with 0 people that knew who we were. And
right.
Just keep doing it and do it because you like it. And it'll go somewhere. It definitely will. And Todd, I want to thank you for joining me tonight too. I called you out of the blue, short notice. And here you were, and so thank you.
Yes, Todd, thank you for helping out. I mean, you got some good stories too. Maybe we'll just have you on instead one night.
Definitely, you never know.
Or even some of you other team members too.
Yeah, I was going to say the other team members would probably like to do it too. I can think of a couple of the other ones that are quite colorful. You might get some pretty good stories out of them.
Hey, look, we're into the treasure hunting. We're ghost stories. That kind of stuff. That's all part of it because there's some treasures that have ghosts involved.
Yeah. I totally, and that will have to go to a different show some other time. But I can tell you about a few areas that, after about 4 or 5 days being out in those mountains, I'm ready to go home because when you talk about, I don't know if you want to say energy or ghost or whatever it is.
Whatever, right.
Like I said, that's for another night, but yeah, there's some good stories I have there too. So, yeah.
And if now you're probably not watching YouTube, right? So you're not seeing the chat room. But
No.
our chat room, these guys are really enjoying the show. I mean, that's kind of what I watch to see where are they talking about what we're talking about? Are they making comments, or are they talking about this pump or something over there? So tonight's show, we
Well,
had a lot of
it
good
was
comments.
interesting because
Yeah,
we
everybody's-
kept over 20 people in the room. Usually by 10 o'clock, it's falling off.
Right.
So they were interested.
Right. We're not a big show, that's for sure. But hey, we're having fun.
We're trying to look at the big picture, though. Gotta be patient. Look at the big picture.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Well, I guess on that note, we should say goodnight.
Well, we probably should after we thank everyone still here in the chat room, because it's because of them we do what we do. Wouldn't you say so, guys?
Absolutely.
Yep.
I dropped my copper a little while ago, and everybody's asking what it is.
Yeah, I heard a silver round drop.
They thought it was silver.
No, it was copper. Just my copper round. I was playing and I dropped it.
It was LBPA coin.
Yeah, we heard it, Jesse. We heard it. All right, everybody. Thank you all very much for joining us. Come back next week, same time, same channel, for our guest, Terry Carter, treasure hunter, historian, researcher, you name it. Check out his channel. Get some good info so you have some good questions to call in. Again, Tim, Todd, thank you very much. Jesse, Dano, thank you.
Oh, God, thanks. Thank you guys for showing up.
Thank you.
Thank you to
And
all
another
our...
thing, one more thing. Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
And don't blow yourself up.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'll leave that to the professionals.
Right.
And last but not least, thank you to our patrons, because without your help, it would make our job tremendously harder on my wallet. So thank you very much, everybody. Until then, may you always have a flash in your pan.
Know what he's going to say next.
Oh, you bet you, buddy. Maybe one day, too, we'll meet you on the river. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, Jesse.
Good night, Ed.
Night, Ed. Night, Jesse.
Good night.
Stick around, Tim.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
No, we're not.
Just after
Actually, you're not muted.
Gotta love live entertainment.
Well, now everybody knows that I love my wife.
And there ain't nothing wrong with that.
That's right.
Let me tell you about what happens in camp.
Oh,
No one's going to want to leave, you know.
I keep trying to tell my guys that it's not a prison fan, it's a smart man fan. They make fun of me for that big air mattress with the built-in pump in it, and I keep telling them I've been doing this for a long time, and I've learned. I slept on the floor with this sleep bag for several days, came back to the hard back, and then I bought an air mattress, and then it evolved into a big air mattress, and you know what? I sleep good every night. It doesn't matter if I'm at 11,000 feet in elevation or driving in the desert, I sleep good.
I use a cot.
That's not bad.
A Coleman cot. They're great. They're great.
go, guys.
Every day on Dredger Bay, classic.
Thanks, Tom, for showing up.
Every day on Dredger Bay, classic.